Okay, we'll call the meeting to order tonight for the City of Saratoga Springs at 6:01 p.m. on Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Present tonight, I have Councilwoman Barton, Councilman Comber, Councilman Wilden, Councilman Karn, and Councilman Wadman. So we do have a quorum this evening. I've asked Councilman Wilden to lead us in our invocation, and Councilman Karn will lead us in our pledge.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet as leaders of this community this evening. We're grateful for the opportunity to make decisions that will be for our city for many years to come. And we ask you to bless all those that live, work, and travel through this city, that they will be able to be protected. And these things we say in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first, welcome everybody. This is our first city council meeting, first meeting in the new city hall. So patience with us while we work out a few bugs. We're working on it. It's a test run of new programming, so thank you for your patience this evening. Now we got fountain. Gets better as we go.
Bug one done.
Okay, first off, we have the presentation and appointment and oath of office for Fire Chief Kenneth Johnson, Resolution R 25-66.
Mayor and Council. Yes, Mayor and Council, it is being recommended to you that we hire Kenny Johnson as our fire chief for the Saratoga Springs. Obviously, it's a recommendation of the council with the consent of council. So we would ask that you pass the resolution prior to swearing him in.
Perfect. Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the appointment of Kenny Johnson and taking of the oath of office as our fire chief, Resolution R 25-66, dated today.
I have a first from Councilman McComber.
Second.
Second from Councilman Karn. Any further discussion? Councilwoman Barton?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Karn?
Aye.
Wadman? Motion passes unanimously. This is great. Kenny's been part of our community for a long time, understands having the fire engaged in our community, being part of our community, and we're looking forward to many more great years with you. It is my honor tonight to be able to give you your oath of office. I don't know if you want to say anything before we get started. Yep.
Do you want to key your mic?
Briefly, I know that you guys have a busy meeting, but I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. I understand the important role that this position plays in our community, and I'm humbled by the trust that you and our city administration has placed in me. I'll do all I can to not let you down. I'm so excited about our city's future, and our success is guaranteed. I've seen behind the curtain. I've seen the city staff that works so hard every day to serve our citizens, and I'm confident in that success of our city. We have an amazing fire department. I'm fortunate to be blessed with some of the best and most talented firefighters that I've worked with in my 26 years. So thank you again for this opportunity. I'm really excited for us.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, as you know, we've had some retirements this year, and we've had some additions to our leadership team in preparation for the growth that we will continue to see over the coming years. So tonight, we'll ask you to swear in a number of individuals. 2 of those individuals will be sworn in for the first time for Saratoga Springs, and the others will be reaffirming their commitment to the oath that they've taken in the past. I'll ask them to come up with those that will be pinning them. We have Battalion Chief Rob Morley. And he'll be pinned by his son Cole. We have Battalion Chief Danny Campbell. And he'll be pinned by his wife Kameo. We have Battalion Chief Ryan Rackman. And he'll be pinned by his mentor and friend Corey Clough. We have Engineer Chris White, and he'll be pinned by his children, Shimmery and Reed. We have Captain Taylor Olson, who will be pinned by his parents, Doug and Lori. And finally, Captain Dave Perry, who will be pinned by his wife, Kim. We have one individual that's ill tonight that's not here. That's Engineer Alec Olson. After the mayor swears those individuals in that are being promoted this evening, their family member or friend will pin them with a symbol of the badge that they'll wear every day that represents the oath that they've taken, and it's a constant reminder for them. So Mayor, if you would mind come up and
This is great to see. Thank you for being part of our community. If you would please raise your right arm and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Thank you. Welcome to Saratoga Springs. Thank you for reaffirming commitment.
You didn't give me a photo op earlier, Chief Johnson. No, I am easier to go. I'm shorter.
Okay, and tonight also we have police officers. Chief Burton.
Mayor and council, it's a pleasure to be with you as always, especially in our new city hall. I would say the police department would like to express our congratulations to our brothers in the fire department and sisters, none of which were part of the ceremony tonight, but we'd like to congratulate them for their achievements and welcome Chief Johnson as the new fire chief. We have two officers to have a ceremonial swearing in and commissioning ceremony. I apologize that I'm not in uniform at this occasion. I'm still on light duty from back surgery, and I'm not allowed to wear my uniform while I'm on light duty. And the assistant chief is out of town, and the lieutenant is at SWAT training. So at this time, I'd like to call up the two officers that we're commissioning. Officer Chad Cady, come on up here, and Officer Coy Hansen. Right here, gentlemen, for the moment. Chad is a recent graduate of the Police Academy at the Salt Lake Community College. Coy is a not too distant recent graduate of the Police Academy, but also served a little bit of time as a police officer at Provo, so he comes to us with some experience. So at this time, Mayor, if you want to come forward and swear him in.
Okay. If you'd raise your right arm and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Welcome to Saratoga. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. In fact, Mayor, if you want to help me with this too. So we're a little unrehearsed in our new digs here. We knew how to get it done in the old one. So we have for each officer a commissioning certificate. And I'll read one of the certificates. They're both the same. And then I'll have the mayor present them. Just in this big room, we need a microphone. Okay. The certificate reads as follows. Saratoga Springs Police Department, Department of Commission as a police officer. The Chief of Police of the Saratoga Springs Police Department has reposed special trust and confidence in the loyalty, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Coy Hansen and Chad Cady. In view of these qualities and their demonstrated potential for the responsibility, they are appointed as police officer effective today, given under our hands this 22nd day of December 2025 in the city of Saratoga Springs, Utah. Signed, Jim Miller, Mayor, and Andrew Burton, Chief of Police. Now I'll just let the, oh, you want some pictures? I got this microphone in my hand. Thank you, Mayor. We'll just let the families of the officers know that at this point, the officers are excused. They're actually working tonight. That's why they're in duty uniform, so they'll go back to work, training and work. But the families can go downstairs in the elevator to the first floor, and we'll be able to take some pictures with your officers and their certificates.
Okay, thank you. What an exciting way to start off in our new city hall. In the 16 years that I've been with the city council, we've gone from about 18,000 to 70,000 people. And the departments have had rapid growth to match the needs of the residents. And tonight, you know, we're able to recruit and retain very good talents. We appreciate everybody here tonight to support these members of our police and fire department. Thank you. We have public input. Time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns for subject matter not listed on the agenda. If you're here for the public hearings on the agenda, please save your comments for the public hearing. The time has been limited. The time is limited to no more than 15 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments and state your name and address for the record when you come up to the podium.
Mayor, procedurally, Nikki will be running the time clock for us tonight.
Okay, so Nikki will be running our time clock. Is anybody here for public input? Okay, come up to the podium. We'll end at 6:48. It should be.
Hello, Councilman. My name is Brianne Ballard, and you need my address, right? 1103 Waterside Drive. I am here representing Boy Scouts of America, now known as Scouting America. Us and our pack, we have some representatives here. Could you guys please stand up? This is only a small section of the Boy Scouts of America. In fact, we help over 50 scouts currently enrolled in our program. We represent the girls' troop and the boys' troop and Pack 8. We are the only remaining BSA units in Saratoga Springs. We are proud to serve this community and to teach our youth the values of leadership, service, and citizenship. We are here because our pack and troop are in need of a consistent, reliable place to meet. We have already addressed this with some of the City Council, but wish to make it more widely known. This needs to be addressed urgently in the cold winter months upon us. The places for us to meet are very limited and inconsistent. Without a dedicated space, it becomes increasingly difficult to deliver the full scouting program, including planning, service projects, teaching important skills, and providing a safe, structured environment for our youth. We are simply hoping to use one of the city's current or future available meeting rooms on a monthly, reoccurring basis. In return, we want to offer something meaningful. We want to serve our community more. Our scouts are deeply involved in supporting the city we love. Some examples of our service include helping host the Moon Party alongside the Kiwanis Club, singing to assisted living centers, volunteering at city activities and events, making blankets for Primary Children's Hospital, organizing an annual garbage cleanup at Westlake High School, creating birthday boxes, and many more projects throughout the year. Our goal is to continue giving back and do even more. But to make this possible, we need a stable home where our scouts can meet, plan, and grow. We remind the council, many of whom are Eagle Scouts, that this program does create opportunities for future leaders. We are in desperate need of a non-athletic program such as scouting in our city. We respectfully ask the council to consider allowing our troop and pack to use a city meeting room. We are eager to work with staff on scheduling, requirements, and any expectations the city may have. Thank you for your time, and thank you for supporting the use of Saratoga Springs.
Thank you. Just so the public knows, it's not normally a dialogue, but Owen, will you reach out? Thank you.
Hello, Norman Kingsford, 3124 South Forest Avenue. I live in the Fox Hollow neighborhood, and I want to discuss the plat and site plan for the Fox Hollow N4 neighborhood. I wanted to restate something that was previously mentioned in a previous meeting. So we're not against growth. We understand the city is expanding, and we fully support reasonable and responsible development. We're not opposed to affordable housing. We want families of all incomes to come. But affordable housing doesn't have to mean high-density homes. So the Master Development Agreement states that the minimum size for dwelling units in a low-density residential neighborhood is 1,250 square feet. So that's perfectly reasonable and attainable home size. So these types of homes have historically provided affordability without the negative impacts that concentrated high-density homes developments often bring. So if the agreement already allows for 1,250 square foot homes, why can't we build more of those? Why is affordable always or suddenly defined as high-density townhomes instead of smaller single-family homes? Well, we know why. It's because it maximizes the builder's profits, and they're not designed in the long-term well-being of the community in mind. Additionally, as discussed in a previous meeting, D.R. Horton is not complying with the 20-foot setback of the Master Development Agreement. It states that 20-foot setbacks shall be maintained adjacent to the regional open space corridors and preserves. This concern still stands, and we ask that D.R. Horton follow all established protocols in the stipulations. There's also another important requirement in the Master Development Agreement that hasn't been fully met. It states that developments with more than 100 units shall be furnished picnic areas with tables and barbecue areas, a sports court of at least 500 square feet, 3 playgrounds complete with equipment, and a clubhouse used for gathering of the residents not less than 700 square feet, complete with restrooms and either a regulation-sized tennis court or subsurface swimming pool not less than 100 square foot in size. Some of those amenities were provided in the plans, but not the full extent required as listed in the Master Development Agreement. To my knowledge, there weren't 3 playgrounds complete, there wasn't a clubhouse, and some of the other, maybe some of the barbecue units. So these requirements are in place to ensure that the large development contribute meaningfully to the quality of life and the people who live there. So if the developers want to build the benefit of building here, they must meet those obligations that come with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chad Palmer. I live at 3229 South Red Wolf Drive. Moved here a couple years ago after my wife and we built a house up in that neighborhood, Fox Hollow. I grew up in Box Elder County, graduated from Box Elder High, joined the fire department in Logan under Chief Scott Alvord. Subsequently spent the next almost 30 years in fire, joined the Army, did all these things, Hurricane Katrina, Kings National Forest, Sequoia National Forest on fire, putting out the giants. Been on a motorcycle my whole life, off-road, then I got a license at 16 and been riding a motorcycle. A couple years on Mother's Day, because of poor planning of the city that I lived in, they created a blind spot where people were coming out of neighborhoods in high-density townhome neighborhoods, and the girl could not see me on my motorcycle. Even though the headlight was on, I'd actually slowed down to 50 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour area and hit me broadside, and consequently, I lost my leg. I share all that with you because I've had an awesome life. I'm super grateful. I'm not going on that, but a simple thing of planning, and we went to that planning meeting last month, and then now I'm speaking here. It's critical that we don't put townhomes in there. That's why we bought where we bought. That's why we love our neighborhood. I know all my neighbors. Most of them are here tonight from my street and more. And we just don't want to, we know homes are going to go in there. I'd rather have a park. Shoot, man, build a 3-level structure so we can have fire burnouts practice there. That'd be awesome. I'm going to get back into fire, and I'm honored to be here tonight to see all these men and women supporting our fire department and police department. I appreciate this time to share. Please don't make the same mistake that city did, and let's do this right and build family homes, not high-density homes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Allie Lambert, and I live at 3267 South Red Wolf Drive, and I'm also in Fox Hollow. First off, we want to thank you for your lengthy email, Mayor Karn. I know that you have been involved in the issue, and certainly we want to avoid any litigation, and understand that the city has certain confinements, but we ask that you maybe consider safety as the top most important thing. We have young children right there. There were just two big crashes just a couple weeks ago, just days apart. Someone was life flighted right there at that intersection of Village and Redwood. So we would love a light there, maybe a couple there. And I won't reiterate, some of the other master development agreement specifics that Norman outlined, but if we can just do our absolute best, anything that is in your power, we would be so grateful. The best part of being a citizen of Saratoga Springs is that we're here early and we get to be part of the planning. I'm so excited to be in this new building. This is so cool to be a resident here, and I think that's what drew people to this city, because we want to have a say in what our community becomes. And so please, if you could do everything in your power to make this an enjoyable place to be, we're happy to be here. And I think traffic is the biggest concern, and you're well aware of that. It's nothing we need to reiterate, but bringing in that many more families, that many more cars on the road, especially, if high density housing, if you have multiple families in one unit, that's a lot of cars. We just want this to be an enjoyable place. Thank you.
Hi, Mark Sim, 3023 South Fox Point Drive. I am here because of the school and this development that is coming with D.R. Horton. Currently, right now, this would add 200 to 300 more students to Sage Hills, and they are already in trailers behind because there are not enough classes. My wife being on the PTA, we are very aware of the limited resources that they have. But instead of looking at maybe an additional school, which we understand that the taxpayers are not wanting to pay additional money, we're all strapped for cash, we're all trying to get by on a day-by-day basis. But I would appeal to your good nature and the fact that each one of you have children, each one of you understand the importance of them being educated and taught in a safe place, in a safe classroom. It's already bad enough that we have people driving at extreme speeds through our neighborhoods anyways. We don't need another 300 cars. We don't need a circumstance where these children's lives are going to be put at unnecessary risk. We do not need to be stuck in that road on Redwood again if there's another large forest fire. I go back to 2020 when there was that large forest fire and we could barely get out of our neighborhood. I unfortunately had to go back with police escort to my home to avoid a similar fire within that period of time because we left an oven on. I can only imagine if both sides of the road were completely packed, what that could have been. I'm irritated by this as a citizen. I grew up in a small town and watched that small town get absolutely decimated by builders who were only thinking about the financial benefits, their stock, or whatever else it might be. I don't attend public meetings because I have very little faith in politics. I have very little faith. But I would hope and pray that each of you would look at the circumstance and how many people have approached this group of elected persons who we believe will have our best interest at heart and look at this circumstance and go, this is wrong. Yes, our city is growing. Thank God for that. It's a beautiful city. We love living here. But it doesn't have to grow at this rate without the infrastructure that we need to be safe. I want my children, my 8-year-old boy and my 4-year-old daughter, to be safe going to school. I do not want them put at risk by a ton of extra housing units and no vetting of who may or may not live there that close to a school. I've lived in LA. I've lived in West LA. I've lived in Watts, in Compton. I'm very aware of what type of units produce circumstances. And this is one of those units I feel is a hazard to our neighborhood. Let us have a safe neighborhood and not an unnecessary damage to our kids. Thank you.
That takes us to our 15 minutes. So thank you for those who came in to give public input. Thank you for the many emails that were sent. Thanks for Councilman Carn to reply. We try not to reply so we don't have a public, impromptu public meeting through email. Yeah, we limit that. So thank you for that. That is
Mayor.
on, yes,
Can I ask a question?
go for it.
If you're here for the Fox Hollow issue, can you just raise your hand? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, reports. Anything from the council?
Yes. I want to thank staff, specifically Assistant City Manager Owen Jackson. Can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I want to thank staff and especially our Assistant City Manager Owen Jackson. He's been our staff project lead on this building, and we're obviously still under construction. We wanted to be able to have a couple of meetings here before our council and mayor turned over. And our partners with our architect firm and Big D Construction, everybody has just done incredible work to get us to this point. We anticipate for the citizens to have this building more open the week of December 16th, and then our library will open at 9 a.m. on January 5th. Is that right, 9? We'll have a ribbon cutting for the library on January 5th. Okay, and we're good? Okay. But just thank you, Owen and staff and everyone who's just done an incredible amount of work to get us here.
I just wanted to thank all of our staff and volunteers and all the people who made last night a huge success. Our new amazingly bigger tree that grew overnight was beautiful. We had thousands of people in attendance. It was just fantastic, a lot of great performers. And it's just amazing. I think 16 years ago, the first time Mayor Miller alluded to this last night, it was at the old City Hall. It was just a random pine tree that was in the landscaping behind the building. And we had about 35, 40 people there. And last night, there were thousands of people celebrating. We had a wonderful long line for Santa Claus, and it was just so great to see the community coming together and celebrating this time of year together. I just want to make sure that all of the staff that was involved receives this feedback from, I know from all of the council here. We were all talking about how great of an event it was. If you can share that with them tomorrow. Thank you.
Any other? Okay, anything from administration?
Just wanted to give a special thanks to MSR and the team, and Mayor, thank you very much for your kind words. They truly have done an amazing job, and we're very pleased with that. We have a lot of things happening in the next couple of weeks. We're super excited about that, and I think fundamentally, just looking forward to our council meeting tonight, and we do have need for a closed session at the end of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have the consent items. I will entertain a motion.
So made to approve the consent items as listed on today's agenda.
I have a first from Councilman McComber,
Second.
second from Councilman Wilden. Any further discussion?
Mayor, I have a request. Can we make 2 motions and remove 3 and 4 and make that as a separate motion? I wasn't here last week 2 weeks ago when those 2 were discussed, and I'd prefer to not vote on those since I wasn't part of the conversation 2 weeks ago. So if we can make a motion for 1, 2, and 5 consent, and then 3 and 4 consent.
Amended.
Okay, I have a first, amended first for 1, 2, and 5.
Second.
Amended second from Councilman Wilden. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion for consent on 3 and 4.
I'll move that we approve consent items 3 and 4 as stated on the agenda.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden,
Second.
second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained?
Abstain?
1 abstained. Motion carries. Public hearing, we have the disposition of real property at 1307 North Commerce Drive, Saratoga Springs.
Mayor, I'll cover that one. What we have before us tonight is a public hearing for the disposition of the old City Hall building. By going through this motion, we'll be able to also then approve the purchase agreement to what's now being called the Lake Mountain School District, soon to be renamed potentially. But they took action on this last Tuesday at their first board meeting, and assuming that at the end of the public hearing, the council wants to move forward with the attached resolution, we would move forward with that purchase agreement, lease-to-own purchase agreement with them.
Okay. Before we open this up to the council, this is a public hearing. If you are here for public hearing item 1, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments. Is anybody here for public hearing item 1? It's a longer walk than our last chambers.
It is. I'm Joylyn Lincoln, and I serve on the Lake Mountain School Board. And I just want to thank the city for entertaining this resolution and for the work and partnership that you've been as we develop a school district out here. So thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody else here for this public hearing? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Any comments from the council?
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to comment on this. Because we all have the same taxpayers as the new school district, I think this is a really great opportunity to help the new school district get on their feet. Their budget is very small for the first 18 months. Jolynn, am I right? 18 months? Yeah, so this helps them get into a facility where they have got a district office building. And just so the public knows, the way the contract was designed is Saratoga Springs will be fully compensated for the full value of the building. They're just getting a little bit of help up front, and then we'll get it on the backside. So I believe, Mark, it's a 10-year deal that they can pay off early, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
The first few payments are very small. Essentially, the city is letting them lease to own it, so it's a financing deal where they will be paying us for the building, ending in their ownership, and we're excited for that opportunity. It is mostly fully furnished. We're leaving all of our furniture and things of that nature that's not coming to this building for their use, and we look forward to seeing how that evolves into the school district offices.
And I just told Owen he was doing a great job, but we need to get over here so we get out of that building.
And Mayor, if I could, I'm just grateful that the home of the new school district will be in Saratoga Springs. I think that will be a great asset for the city, as well as the surrounding communities that this school district will serve. I also am in favor of giving them leeway up front so that they can get into that building. I think the timing, sometimes you call it fate or you call it just maybe it's happenstance, but we've been looking to have this new building for over a decade, and to have these two things align with the residents of Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, Cedar Fort, and others, to vote to form a new school district, and then having us move in here literally within weeks of the need, just says so many things about we are trying our best to do our best, and sometimes you just have a greater, higher power can step in and really help make things work and make things happen. I'm also very impressed with everyone working so well together. We have not had the best relationship, and I've always been very blunt up here about the relationship with the Alpine School District, not just for more schools and things, but just dealing with them on many other issues: bus yards, transportation, buses, like subsidizing for our police officers at the schools, all the different things that we deal with. The fact that they charge us a fortune to rent a basketball court for the same citizens, the same kids who go to their schools, they charge the city of Saratoga Springs this asinine amount of money for us to use these facilities. And so I'm hoping that this will be a motion of good faith on the part of the city to the new school board and school district, and I hope that they return the favor to us going forward in the years to come and have a good partnership with us as we look to rent from them the facilities needed to supply very well-needed athletic opportunities for the youth of Saratoga Springs. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any other? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve public hearing item 1, the disposition of real property, 1307 North Commerce Drive, Saratoga Springs, and real estate purchase agreement with Lake Mountain School District Resolution 25-67, dated today.
Second.
I have a first from Councilman Karn, second from Councilwoman Barton. Any further discussion? Councilman Wadman?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Karn?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have public hearing, item 2, sanitary sewer impact fee facilities plan.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. This item's for adoption of the updates to the city's sanitary sewer impact fee facility plan and the impact fee analysis. And about every couple of years, every year or two, we update this to keep up with construction costs and to keep up with future growth in the area. And these changes will result in a modest increase in impact fees for new development, and they'll more accurately reflect the true cost of proposed system improvements. For a typical single-family home, the current impact fee is $1,217 and some change, and the proposed impact fee goes up to $1,489. There's an increase of about 22%, and that was it.
Okay. We'll open up the public hearing, and then we'll take comments from the council. Is anybody here for the public input or public hearing on item 2, the sanitary sewer impact fee? If so, please state your name and address for the record. Please avoid repetitive comments. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Is anybody here? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, and we'll take comments. And just so that people are aware and they know, impact fees are direct costs. The city doesn't make any money. It's a one-to-one. It comes in, it goes out, exact costs. We just update them to match construction pricing and current costs in the market. We've had some go up and some go down in the past.
And much of this fee increase is associated with development agreements, associated with developers building infrastructure to stay ahead of those growth patterns, so that we're building the infrastructure and having that infrastructure to help take care of new growth. And as a reminder to the council and for those in the audience, impact fees can only be spent on new growth-related projects for future development. And so it's a restricted funding source that can only be used in those ways. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the council?
I would just say, I think it's important that we regularly do these updates so that residents aren't paying for the cost of new development. And I remember 12 years ago, my first council meeting, Mark talked about sewer, and we're at the very end, and he's talking about sewer again, so.
I had that thought as well.
Okay, I will entertain a motion on public hearing item 2.
I move that we approve public hearing item number 2, sanitary sewer impact fee facilities plan impact fee analysis and enactment of amendment impact fees, ordinance 25-72 dated today.
I have a first from Councilman Wadman.
Second.
Second from Councilman Wilden. Any further discussion? Barton? Wilden?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Karn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have public hearing item 3 and possible motion for the Sitless Saratoga Springs annexation, 3 Canyons.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let's see if I can get the clicker to work. Just a moment. All right, for this item, we have 2 representatives from the applicant, Larry H. Miller Real Estate, here today. We have Brandon Ames and Bart Sharp. If you have any questions, would you like to come up?
If they want to come up to the applicant table.
Well, they're coming up. This annexation is for 1,209.95 acres, approximately at future Mountain View corridor at the end of where it currently exists today, between Grandview Boulevard and Stillwater Drive. This is currently owned entirely by the Utah State Trust Lands Association, and Larry H. Miller is the applicant. We have 3 concurrent applications that have yet to go to Planning Commission that run with this annexation. So we have an application for a master development agreement, a community plan, as well as a general plan amendment to change the designations that you see here from, natural open space, low density, rural residential, and community commercial to planned community.
that goes along with the community plan application. We need the planned community zone and general plan designation for that. The applicant has requested or noted that they prefer that this annexation action be tabled to the time of action for these concurrent applications. So that will likely be the next city council meeting. These items are all scheduled for planning commission next week on the 11th.
To be clear, are we planning on moving forward with the public hearing then?
Yes, so this has been noticed as a public hearing. So, as long as the council and mayor are amenable to it, we have noticed that for tonight. Here's what the annexation plat looks like and the potential motions. I'll turn the item back over to the council.
Okay, this is a public hearing, so we'll open it up for the public to share comments or concerns. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Please avoid repetitive comments. Please state your name and address for the record. Is anybody here for the public hearing tonight on this? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and
Mayor?
open it up to the council.
I'm just, Mike, a question on the public hearing, since there are issues that haven't gone to the planning department yet, can we, I don't even know if this is possible, can we leave the public hearing open until the next council meeting so that people have an opportunity to see the applications?
So, can I answer that question?
Yeah. I don't know what
I
logistically.
don't know if this is working.
Yep.
Okay, so the public hearing, the planning commission does not do a public hearing on an annexation. However, they will have a public hearing on the development agreement.
Perfect, that's all I needed.
So I think a lot of those issues can be addressed at that point.
I just don't, I don't want to do that without a public hearing, so that's great.
Okay, any other comments from the council, questions?
I just want to point out, Mayor, if I can, that this has been something that has been discussed and talked about for months, and I think some people might be wondering why there weren't people giving their feedback. They've gone to community meetings that were held in the neighborhood. There were multiple meetings there. We've had meetings with the city council. There's been many meetings with staff. I personally have been able to ask my questions one-on-one to understand. I know other council members have as well. They've taken the initiative to do so, which I think is honorable and what we should be doing to get all of the information. So I just want to thank staff, I want to thank the applicant, and I want to thank all the residents and their feedback, because that is helpful in this process to understand what is best for the community. And in those conversations, I think we're bringing forth the applications that are coming forth and that will be talked about on Thursday, and then consequently the next events that happen here in the city council. We're having a much better product than what we started with. And everyone's nodding, the applicant's nodding. I mean, that's something that is really due to all of the hard work that went into this, like all of the players that I just mentioned. So I wanted to make sure everyone, and thank everyone for that. Thank you, Mayor.
And I understand they've asked to table this, continue it until the meeting, potentially the 16th. I know there's been discussion to do that on the 18th because of the 16th unique agenda. Just
yeah.
And that. And then also, I know with this annexation, it is state land, and there is some encouragement from the state to participate in this discussion also for that. That's why we're trying to fit that in within the year at the state's request.
Because they want to discuss it at the state legislature this session. Correct.
Mayor, if I may, if it does come back in front of us, I mean, the comments I made before around the master development agreement, for me to get comfortable, has to be very clearly tied to the completion of Mountain View Corridor the whole way.
Yep.
Because we cannot put 3,000 units in the city without roads to get in and out. Redwood won't support that.
Correct. And I know we've talked about it, but the recreational easement on the open sensitive lands needs to be tied to the annexation up front, not down the road. The day it comes in, it's tied for the sensitive lands open space. Okay, other questions? Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
I move to continue the decision for the Sittler Saratoga Springs annexation. And as stated on today's agenda, ordinance 25-73 dated today, to the next city council session when the other items being presented will be voted on at the same time.
Second. So we're tentatively shooting for December 18th, so the public's aware this isn't a surprise or something sneaky done. Okay. I have a first from Councilwoman McComber, second from Councilwoman Barton. Any further discussion?
You want to put that on the motion, like the December 18th?
I just
So
said the
it's on-
next,
on the
I just said the
minutes?
next one in case it ends up being the 16th
Okay.
and not the 18th, because we haven't had a conversation with all the council if we are even here on the 18th.
Got it.
It was
Okay.
originally talked about the 16th, so I just wanted to have it be on the next council meeting, whatever that date
Be
is.
one of those 2 dates.
Yep.
Okay, I have first and second, Councilman Carn,
Aye.
Wadman,
Aye.
Barton,
Aye.
McComber.
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, business item 1, the appointment of Planning Commission members, Resolution R 25-69. We weren't going to let you out of this inaugural meeting, Sarah.
Can we please invite the reappointed and newly appointed commissioners to come up for just a moment? We would like to recognize them. Great, thank you. This is Rachel Sprosty Burns. She has been serving on our planning commission for several years now and is our chair, and our mayor chose to reappoint her. She's been doing a fantastic job, so we're thankful that she's willing to continue serving. And then we have 2 new commissioners that will be official in January, and they're here for their appointments. We have N.H. Rather, and then we have Chris Roman. Is there anything you'd like to hear from them?
Just, normally, we've always done it, and I talked to Mayor Pro Tem, Councilwoman Barton beforehand. This unique time was switching over to Mayor-elect Carn and myself leaving. The 2 of us did the interviews this time, and she was good with that change, because this is the Planning Commission that Councilman Carn and that new council will be working with. We had the chance to interview many applicants, and these 3 have done a great job. They've been involved in the community before. NH has come in to be grilled by us a few times. We appreciate your persistence and the value you'll add to the community. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add, Councilman Carn?
No.
So with that, I would entertain a motion.
I'll try to make it.
Oh.
I move that we approve business item number 1, appointment of planning commission members, resolution R 2569, dated as today.
I have a first from Councilwoman Barton,
Second.
second Councilman McComber, or Councilman Wilden. Any further comment?
Just I'm glad we're getting some of the riffraff off the planning commission.
Commissioner Carn?
Yeah, Commissioner Carn.
I've been waiting, but
Okay, we have, okay, Councilman Wadman,
Aye.
Carn,
Aye.
Wilden,
Aye.
McComber,
Aye.
Barton.
aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for your willingness to serve on the Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sarah, you will swear them in at the next Planning Commission meeting, or
The first one in January.
first one in January?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Mark, I believe we had talked about with the new councilman and the new planning commissioners, having some sort of special meeting where they can get together and understand and get up to speed on a lot of projects so that they can best represent the city and current issues.
Mayor, do you want that as a joint council or just the new
I think
members?
just the new council members and new planning commissioners to
In
get up to speed
January?
on all the projects before January, if we could.
Yeah, we can do some training with them for open and public meetings and things of that nature as well, so we'll work on getting that taken care of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we have business item 2, preliminary plat and site plan for Fox Hollow.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Okay, Fox Hollow neighborhood for prelim and final. So this is in the R110 zone, also in the PUD overlay, located in Village Parkway and Swainson Avenue. DR Horton is the applicant, Dave Kelly is the representative. I believe they are here tonight, so it would probably be good to have them come forward to help answer questions, as I know there are maybe a lot of questions on this one. So to jump right in, as they come up here, staff did do a full review on this. We went through Title 19, as you can see here on the screen, and went through all the different sections. There are a few sections, you can see a lot of complies, and there are a few shall complies. Specifically landscaping, there's just some red lines on that. They need to add some trees. The planned unit development section was a shall comply because that section pertains to the variations that they're going to be requesting, and I'll get into that in later slides. And then the off-street parking, they have a park, and that park does have a parking lot, and so that parking lot is subject to city council approval for how many parking stalls there are, so that's also a shall complies. Moving on, you can see here, this is where the development is located, just off of Redwood Road. You can see Wildlife Boulevard there, Village Parkway, kind of orient yourself there, and then the school. It's not labeled here on the screen, but it's just to the west of the property, and the property does go uphill as you move to the left on the screen there, or to the west. This is the overall site plan that they've submitted. You can see here it shows 171 single-family lots, 138 townhomes, and a total of 308 dwellings. Density is 6.83 acres, units per acre. Minimum lot size being 4,080 square feet, and maximum lot size shown here, 12,293 square feet, with an average lot size of 5,800. We went ahead and reviewed the elevations as it pertains to Title 19. So Title 19 does regulate multifamily housing and the architecture there. So the code does not cover single-family homes, so those are not covered by Title 19, but multifamily is. And so staff has gone through and reviewed these. These elevations do comply with Title 19. They have two variations. They have a 4-unit and a 5-unit townhome being proposed, each with 2 different wraps, basically being color schemes. And then they have 3 different styles. So they have the Craftsman, the farmhouse that you see here, and then the modern farmhouse. There have been mention in public comments regards to the MDA and how that regulates architecture. Staff did review this, and to put it in, to summarize it, there are many amendments to the MDA. There's actually 2 MDAs. There's the first MDA, then the second MDA, and then the second MDA has several amendments that have been done. Specifically, in the second MDA, 5th Amendment, it does mention that the multifamily housing is to be regulated by Title 19, and that it is to follow the standards of the MF10 zone. So upon reviewing that, it does meet those requirements. Landscaping, you can see that here on the screen. A big part of the landscaping is going to be the proposed park, which you can see on the left-hand side of the screen there. This park does have several amenities, including a pickleball court, pavilions, benches, playgrounds, 2 playgrounds, a swing set, and then they have trails, barbecue grills, horseshoes, and a pavilion being shown. The amenity, as far as the landscaping goes, there are also landscaping along the road to the west here, and then along the pathways that go in between the homes. You can see kind of in those dark lines on the screen there. So on the park here to the north, or to the top of the screen on the left-hand side there, it's kind of hard to see on this because it's so light, but there are parking stalls there. There's 9 parking stalls. Those parking stalls are to serve specifically this park. The code does not define a specific parking requirement for parks, but it is subject to the approval of the city council and to the criteria that you see here on the screen in 1909. So when there is no parking designation within the code, the city council should use this criteria. This was included in the staff report, and I did break that down further, each of those items. But they are proposing 9 parking stalls. And some of that is, this park is designed to serve this community. It is serving the amenity points required for the townhomes. One of the things we do recommend in the motion is that this park, though, be dedicated for the Fox Hollow overall development, so anybody within the Fox Hollow would have access to this park. Moving on, we do have the open space plan, as you can see here. So the MDA does require that they have to have approximately 6 acres of open space. They are proposing 9 acres of open space. You can see those shown here. So in the green, that is primarily the open space that would serve the townhomes, and also includes required trails that break up the blocks. The purple is an existing trail that's on the south side, and then the yellow is also an existing trail along Redwood Road. So some of this open space was dedicated with previous neighborhoods in the Fox Hollow development, and then they're dedicating the additional required for the rest of the development as well as for the townhomes. Also included in that calculation are the detention ponds that you can see there in the turquoise color and then the pinkish color. They will be landscaping those. It'll be kind of a rockscape. We went ahead and reviewed the lighting. They are proposing lighting on the townhomes. We have to review that to make sure that it complies with our dark sky ordinance. The proposed lighting that they show, that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen there, does meet that qualification. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the lights that they will be proposing for the pickleball courts. And we've gone ahead and reviewed those, and those do meet our requirements as well. One thing that I wanted to include in this slide here is Utah Code 10-20-902. So there has been some mention of the school and what that, and the concerns about the school and overcrowding and whatnot. So Utah Code 10-20-902 states, a municipality may not, as a condition of land use application approval, require a person filing a land use application to obtain documentation regarding a school district's willingness, capacity, or ability to serve the development proposed in the land use application. Fox Hollow has a history of entitlements. And so some of the big ones I wanted to include here and just kind of go through this really quick. They have dedicated some parkland. The Mountain View Corridor right-of-way has been dedicated as some of these neighborhoods have come in. Upon completion of the 2000th unit, a city park shall be built just to the south and west of Fox Hollow Neighborhood 4. Currently, the current unit count is 1,137. So we're not quite there yet as far as it goes on building that park. The sewer bottleneck has kept them from building for over 4 years, but the plans have been approved, and that sewer bottleneck is in process right now. Moving on here, we've also included kind of a quick timeline so you can see the history of Fox Hollow. So it goes back to 2002 was when the first MDA was approved. In 2012, the MDA was extended, and then in 2013, the MDA was revamped and approved. That MDA did show 552 units for Neighborhood 4. which was then later amended in 2019. They reduced the density from 552 to 335 units. The current plan, just for reference, shows 308 units. And so they are allowed up to 335. They're proposing 308. Other highlights here, in 2020, the Fourth Amendment was approved. It shifted 10 acres of commercial west of the Mountain View corridor from Neighborhood 4 to Neighborhood 13. There is still a commercial portion of Neighborhood 4, which is adjacent to Redwood Road, but that's not being proposed tonight with this preliminary plat and site plan. And then moving on in the timeline here, you can see in 2020, the south sewer bottleneck was identified. 2022, the fifth amendment to the second MDA was adopted. Neighborhood 4 increased the community commercial acreage from 10 to 10.7. Maximum number of townhomes shall be 135 units and can be located anywhere within Neighborhood 4. So that granted them the flexibility to put that where the terrain would best allow that. And then in 2023, you can see the Sixth Amendment extended the MDA for another 10 years, requires the dedication of parkland, requires SID payments, and requires a dedication of the Mountain View corridor land allowed for density transfers. So that kind of gives you the timeline of Fox Hollow. Moving on, variations. So variations are basically exceptions. It's just another word for exceptions. These are that can be allowed in the PUD. So Fox Hollow is a PUD, which is a planned unit development. It's one of the only ones that we have in the city. We don't actually use that zoning anymore, but this is an older zoning designation. The purpose behind the PUD is to cluster homes to preserve the hillsides. But as part of the PUD, because we're trying to preserve the hillsides and we're trying to cluster those homes, we do allow variations for things such as setbacks, as well as lot width and lot frontage. And so that gets the lots closer together. And because of that, you do see that there have been reduced setbacks approved in the previous neighborhoods of Fox Hollow. So on the screen here, we see neighborhood 1 through 11, excuse me, showing that these are all variations that have been approved with regards to setbacks. So you can see that reduced setbacks has been a common thing that's been approved, as well as reduced lot sizes and lot widths. As far as Neighborhood 4 is concerned, they are proposing a few variations to make this current plan work that they proposed. So in the yellow on the screen there, you will see those are variations that have already been approved for Neighborhood 4. So for the single family homes, a 20-foot front setback was approved, 5-foot side setback, 15-foot rear, and 15-foot street side setback. In the green, you can see the proposed variations that they're proposing for tonight. So one of those is a 15-foot side setback for the multifamily units. That would then match what is already approved for the single family. They are also proposing a minimum lot size of 4,080 square feet and a minimum lot width of 40 feet. In addition to those variations, there are some proposed variations on the block length. So if we go back to this, one of these screens, let's see here, yeah, this screen. You can see the 3 roads on the top left here. Those are all longer than what would normally be allowed in Title 19. So our maximum block length is 1,000 feet. Those blocks, so one of them is 30 feet over, so 1,030 approximately. The next one is about approximately 1,100. And then the third road is approximately 1,240 feet in length. So in order to have those block lengths as proposed, they would require a variation. Staff does support that proposal because it does reduce the amount of need for roads that go east to west. East to west, just so you know, that's going uphill to downhill as you approach Redwood Road. And so if there are more roads that way, it would require steeper roads and also steeper intersections. So because of that, staff is supporting the proposal for longer block lengths. The code does outline the criteria by which a variation can be approved. And so you can see those 3 criteria here on the screen. Number 1, that the granting of the variation will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent landowners or residents. 2, that the variation desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and general welfare. And number 3, that the granting of the variation will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of Title 19 of this chapter. Staff has put together some recommended motions. One thing to point out, in your packet, there is a slight change. You'll see struck out here is number 9. So staff had to do some additional research and discussion to look at this more closely. Upon review, we felt like that part was already covered, that the architecture does meet Title 19 requirements. And then also in the highlighted there, you'll see the 40 feet in the staff report that was in the packet. It was 39 feet. The developer did correct us, and it's actually 40 feet is the minimum lot width, not 39 feet. I think that gets us through the slides that I prepared tonight. We do have the developer here, like I said earlier, and I believe they prepared some information for tonight. It's up to the council whether they want to allow that.
Do you have anything you want to add before we go to council discussion?
There we are. Sorry, I'm Jaron Nichols, part of Dave Kelly's development team. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Dave Kelly with D.R. Horton.
And so I think at this point right now, staff provided a pretty awesome presentation, very thorough. I don't think we have anything to add at this point. We do have some slides that, if helpful, might show some more detailed images of the park, colored rendering of that. We can walk the council through the park and see kind of what we're proposing. We're pretty excited for the amenities we have proposed there. And then if there's any questions about, the intersection that we're being required to put in as part of this project, which is a lighted intersection at the corner of Village Parkway and Redwood Road. Any questions on that? We've got an aerial view of UDOT's and LEI engineers' design overlaid on an aerial view of that. So those are just some things we could share if they're important.
Can we see that lighted intersection? I think that's a great point.
Yeah. Can we see it?
Yeah.
While he's pulling that up, you can, it's going to take a bit. It's on my days.
While we pull that up, one thing I neglected to mention is condition number 11 there. So staff is recommending a restroom in that park just because of the number of amenities. Condition number 11, we've left it as shall or shall not. We thought that would be up to the city council whether that could happen, but we felt like because there's, they have pickleball courts, you have playgrounds, you have pavilions, all of that, we felt like that would be a good benefit to the community to have a restroom there. If you had kids, you're there using that park, that we felt like that would be something needed for our community.
Mayor, are we discussing at this point?
Do you have it pulled up so that we can see that first, Sarah? All our screens went black.
Yeah, these ones are black out here too. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, the clicker we can get to. Does this control the? Okay, want to get to that one? There it is. Yeah, want to talk about it?
Yeah. So this is, we've met with UDOT, and we've gone through, we still need to, make sure we're compliant with
I don't think we
Saratoga.
can hear you.
Sorry. So we've met with UDOT and gone through these plans, but, obviously we still need to get everything finalized and approved. But you can see it's putting in a left turn lane, a protected left, a through, and a right turn lane going west or eastbound. And that's basically, a lot of it is just widening the road over on Pintel Ave, so it aligns with the intersection over on Village Parkway, and then UDOT will be installing the lights once that is complete.
And this sits in the northeast corner of the development.
Projector's not working on that screen, so they put it
Sorry, bugs.
One other thing to point out too is, so this UDOT is going, the improvements, these are the surface improvements that our project brings online. As soon as those are done, UDOT will install the lights.
Can you
That's
see
kind
the
of
rest of your
trigger.
slides that you have since this is up?
Let's look at the rest of them.
Yeah. So this is just a phasing map, right? It'll be built out in 3 phases. So we're talking probably a 3 to 4 year time frame before phase 3 is built out. But as you can tell in phase 1, we are putting in the amenities and also the intersection, and then some of the other pedestrian safety improvements as well as part of phase 1. So just a little more detailed, what phase 1 looks like, what phase 2 and what phase 3 will look like. You can see the intersection is marked on there. We already saw this slide. The pedestrian safety improvements, so at Swainson Ave and Village Parkway, we will be installing a 4-way stop. Currently, it's a north-south stop sign, but that will be a 4-way stop. We'll be putting in a school crossing zone or a school crossing in front of the school. And then down on the south side, we'll be putting in the rapid flashing beacons. You hit those and it tells you that a pedestrian or somebody's gonna be crossing the street. We'll be putting those both on Swainson and then Commercial Way, which is the little stub road that connects to Wildlife. So we've already seen this. Landscaping, here's a more zoomed in version, right? We have, as proposed, we have 3 playground structures. We have 2 pickleball courts. We have cornhole pits with AstroTurf, so you can play year round, and then 2 pavilions. This is the proposed playground structure, or one of them. These are the pickleball courts we actually just built out in Salem, Utah. No, these are up in Inverness, up in Lehigh. So these are the pickleball courts that, as they be built with the lighting that is being proposed. These are the cornhole boards that we'd be installing. It's not a wooden board. These are made out of stone or concrete. These are the pavilions we're proposing, right? It's not just a glorified metal carport, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and happy to answer any other questions you got.
Okay, we'll go to the council. Councilman Wadman.
So the intersection that's going to be there, where the light will be, when will that be in? Will that be in phase 1, phase 2, or when is that?
Yeah, right now, the engineering staff has required that be done prior to, I think it's pre-con, or basically before phase 1 can be fully ready to go and move forward. So it's being built and
Okay, so
with
within the
phase
next,
1.
phase 1, the timeline there.
Yeah, we hope to pave it. I mean, assuming approval here soon, we hope to have it paved by the end of next year.
Okay. Councilman McComber.
I just have a few questions, concerns. I think appreciate staff. It was a very detailed report. I think you shared a lot of really good information. There's a lot of things that frustrated me over the years, and one is state code, especially when they don't fund their mandates. Because if they say we can't determine if a school size or the population of the kids in that school can be taken into consideration, but then they don't fund the school districts with enough money to build the schools, and it's just an endless cycle. Also, transportation needs. I did meet with UDOT and the governor's office recently, and they're very much aware of this project and others, and are helping us to streamline the Mountain View corridor, which will help the north-south as well. I'm grateful that you proactively are doing the light at the intersection, getting it ready to go so that UDOT can put that in, because a Warren study with just phase one, without even phase one, probably would have justified it. And the fact that you are impacting this so greatly, that does say a lot, that you're willing to do that, because there probably was already a demand there. And so I think that's a show of good faith. Appreciate that. I'm looking at all of, just some of the comments that were made by residents. I'm just thinking through those. All of the MDA requirements for the playgrounds and everything, all of the barbecue pits and all that have been met.
Yeah, so that same section of code in the second MDA Fifth Amendment, that would also apply to the amenities as well.
Okay, so as long as it's meeting, I don't want to make a decision on something and then a month later, it's not part of the amendment. This master development agreement and the cycles of this is one of the banes of my existence. I've dealt with this the entire 16 years, inherited it, and then also I wanted to make sure it's very clear to the residents that it's the efforts of Stephen Wilden and myself and Mayor Miller who really worked hard to reduce the density. Do you realize that this could have easily been over 500 units? And we in the years past negotiated with and were able to reduce that density. I remember it very clearly because we even sort of joked, look at us, we're actually reducing density in the city. It was a really great win for the city. I also do want to point out that the developer is not going to their full 325 that they can. They're doing it at 308. They're increasing their open space. I believe the park amenity is quite impressive. Me personally, I was just experiencing. I think it's also better to have a central park like this than 3 little pocket parks. I promise you residents, you do not want little pocket parks. It's very difficult for drivers. It's nice to know where there's one big park that you know that's where you're going by. You're not dealing with little tot lot parks. This park has amenities from what I'm seeing that are going to address many different age groups, which I think is honorable. The 9 parking stalls I'm okay with. I live in a development that has townhomes. In fact, probably other than Harvest Hills has the most townhomes. And they're great neighbors and they like to walk. They don't really want to drive to the park. And so I think the 9 stalls meets the spirit of it for maybe a house or something that lives on the far north end. I do agree that if there's not a condition, is there a condition opening this park up to the greater Fox Hollow, the city residents as a whole?
To the greater Fox Hollow.
The greater Fox Hollow, there is a condition?
Correct.
I was trying to read those, but
Yeah.
when I read them earlier, but I didn't recall, so I just wanted to make sure. Okay, and then so the pickleball lighting, I just want to make sure that that is operational by people that can turn it on, but then it won't work after the dark ordinance. So this is not like we have, it's midnight at Patriot Park, but we've noticed that. I think that this should be done at the city's standard. I think it's 10 or 10:30. And so we need to make sure that whatever is when they're installing that we make sure that the lighting doesn't affect the residents around there where the lights can be turned on at like 2 in the morning. So there needs to be some kind of control system put in place. And I just want to point out the space, the park that's next to I believe that's the school there, correct? There's the school right there, and then the big park goes to the south side of that. That park has been designed a couple times. We've got different ideas. Things are changing as the city evolves. The amphitheater is going to be here now instead of there, which I think will be good for traffic down there. You probably didn't want a 4,000-seat amphitheater in your backyard, from what I'm gathering. You guys don't really want a lot of traffic, so I think that that's a blessing that is being moved to this campus here. But most likely that park will have a lot of mountain bike trails not motorized, but just mountain bike trails with like ramps and things because of the hill situation, and then other potential amenities. Nothing's been finalized yet, but there's great ideas for that area. And would love your feedback as residents, what you might want to see in that huge park. Just because he said we have to wait till 2,000 doesn't mean that the future city council has to wait till 2,000 units. I think that spirit of the law, if we get in the 1,800 range, it might be time for them to have a park. There is no city park in this entire area. It's all HOA parks, and I think that it probably is time that we invest in having a park in the south end of the city, other than the Reed and Ursula Wayman Park. And I will always say the full name of that park. And then the Marina Park down there, further south. So in terms of the block length, I think that's one of the last comments I have. I'm not a huge fan of the long block lengths. I do understand because of the topography here that that's why the city is recommending that. I appreciate that. Have we talked with the fire chief and the fire marshal to making sure that they are comfortable with that?
This item has been part of our DRC discussions.
So they
on
are
several
aware of that?
occasions, yeah.
And they didn't have any concerns, they didn't express any concerns in the DRC? Okay, great. Just because there's turnarounds, the ability for the ambulances or the fire trucks, and the fact that this is looped around and it is creating a loop environment, I don't think they would have a real problem. It's not like they're dead end. That's really the length. I think the intent of that ordinance is long and then a dead end. So then it's hard to turn around, where this actually does loop up and around. The last thing I just want to point out, there is commercial coming in here. Commercial development will come in here eventually. It might take a few years, but everything comes faster than I ever planned. 75,000 people. I never thought I would be finishing my career at 75,000 people. I thought 45, 50 at the most. And when you have commercial, single-family homes don't like being next to commercial. Townhomes don't even like being next to commercial. And one of the things that we've done through the entire city, Harvest Hills, Wander, every neighborhood, we try our very best to do a feathering approach. Feathering means you have commercial, and then you have a higher density project next to that, and then you get less density as you get away from there. And so this project actually does accomplish a feathering approach within their entitled bounds of having what will be the commercial, then the townhomes, and then the single-family homes, and then actually a park and a school, and then other single-family homes. Do I personally want to see multifamily housing? Absolutely not. I've been against this my entire career. This is one that we inherited, just like the apartment complex by the old City Hall was inherited. All of the townhomes and apartments and things that are in Harvest Hills, inherited. So people have vested rights for a reason, because they are putting their hard-earned money and the American dream to invest and to try and make a profit. That's capitalism. I know that we don't want them to make unreasonable profits, but profits all the same. And so I just want to end my comments. This is probably one of a couple very controversial or bigger things that I will be voting on. I will say that throughout my 16 years, the first 5, 7, 8 years, feedback that would come into the city council, feedback that would be shared, concerns would be shared, it was always very civil. There's always dignity involved. There's always, we know you're doing your best within the bounds that you've been given, and the state law and precedents that is within your rights. I've had controversial issues like bees in people's backyards and chicken coops, and people coming in saying that they're going to kill me because I'm allergic to chickens and the next door neighbor can have chickens. And even those, I felt that there was a level of decorum and dignity. I was very disappointed with the many of the emails that were shared, accusing me and my peers of horrendous things that I just think is unacceptable and just not right. I'm always willing to listen. I've always had an open ear. Anybody can call me. My phone number is on the website, the city website. My email is there, obviously, and I also felt like Did some of you even read what you were forwarding? Because they were very duplicate emails, the same exact email. And did you really read? And do you really want your name associated with some of the vile comments that were given? I just hope that in the coming months and the coming years, that Saratoga Springs can return to a more civil and a dignified approach on how we approach these issues. I just felt very strongly that I needed to share this, not just on this project, but others as well. Like, we just need to step up our game. We need to be better than the national and even the state level. We need to step it up and say, Saratoga Springs is gonna be different. And we're gonna do things with respect, and we're gonna have dialogue, and we're gonna have conversations, and we might not agree, and you might not get everything you want. And guess what? That is America. You don't get everything you want, because if you got everything you want, then somebody else is getting nothing. And so I just wanted to share those thoughts. But I do want to point out that there were many emails, and I did respond to a few of them, and I have a few more that I want to respond to, and I still will, who did use respectful language and treated me with dignity, as I've always tried over 16 years to treat the people who come to this chamber and our other chamber with dignity. And with that, Mayor, I yield my time back to you.
Okay. Other comments? Councilman Carn.
I've got some questions on the park. I know this was a big issue at the Planning Commission. It's a private park, correct? HOA park.
Correct.
Has the master development agreed to take on this amenity? How can you build a amenity and tell the master development they have to take it on?
So the way it's working right now is there will be a sub HOA that manages Fox Hollow Neighborhood 4.
Okay.
So, we have had conversations with the HOA manager about managing the park, or if the sub HOA manages it, the only question will be if there is a restroom that is required, how that, it can't be open to the general public. So how do we secure that? And then also, if it's not the entire the master HOA taking care of the park, if it's the sub HOA, then, like trying to keep the access to where these residents here aren't paying for toiletries and cleaning the restrooms
Right.
for everybody else.
So, and that, when I watched that on the Planning Commission, because of my background with HOAs, I had a million questions going through my head. Without the master without the master HOA in agreement, I don't know how we can sit and say that the master HOA will take financial responsibility for the park. And you're absolutely right, if the sub-agent pays for it, well, the rest of the HOA shouldn't have access to it because they're not contributing financially to the maintenance and upkeep and the install. So I think there's some things to work out there. Can we legally require a bathroom? I'm asking
me that?
you, yeah.
Okay. If I can, I'll address your first question about the HOA. So the development agreement does have a clause with respect to open space improvements that are not dedicated to the city. So that's everything except for the 25 acres. And all it says is that the developer shall ensure that a homeowners association assumes maintenance and operation responsibilities. It doesn't say it has to be the master HOA. It just says a homeowners association.
Okay. But they're
So if they set it
recommending
up-
that the master take it, and they can't just give it to the master. They have to agree to take it.
It sounds like they're doing a sub-association, which I think would meet the intent and requirements of the MDA. With respect to the bathroom, that's definitely up for discussion with the council. If they have proposed certain amenities, we look at whether it meets the formula in the master development agreement. But you certainly can come to your own conclusion about whether it meets the amenity points in.
Does
in the
adding a
development agreement.
restroom give them more amenity points?
It gives them a certain number of points. I don't know the exact amount off the top of my head, but it's not, I would say there are other amenities that are worth more and some that are worth less, so, but they do get a credit for it.
Yeah, so I understand the Planning Commission's, what they're trying to accomplish with that concern. I think from my personal experience, when you've got a private park that's not public and you put a restroom in it, then you try and key card the doors, it becomes extremely restrictive and hard to maintain. And I don't want to make it a condition of a private park. I think it's very hard to maintain and manage.
You have to key fob.
You have to key fob it, and then you go to the park, you don't bring your key fob, and what other amenities in this community require a key fob, right? There's might be nothing else. So it's difficult. Or you have a code on a door, and that's a little easier, but those break. I don't think so. I wanted to speak to the many decisions we make are legislative, meaning we have the ability to say no to things. This is an administrative decision. These are decisions that were made in 2002 and then redone several times over the years before many of us were here. And to Councilman McComber's point, and I tried to respond to every email I got, and if you got my response, I apologize. It was a form letter, but there was about 50 emails I got, so I wrote one response and sent it to everybody.
On behalf of Paul.
Yeah. They are asking for less density than they are entitled to build. I cannot take an entitlement away from a developer. And while I might have to hold my nose up to it when I vote, because yeah, I'm not super happy. I'm not saying it's a terrible product. I just, it's just additional density. Now, this is density that was vested that allowed every single home in Fox Hollow to be built. So every single home that's there is there because of the vested density of Neighborhood 4. Am I correct in that statement? Yeah. So it's difficult. Now, they are asking for some things, and we could talk about those. Another thing I wanted to bring up is I did get a comment from someone today about some of the amenities promised by the original MDA, and I believe after some research, Neighborhood 4 is governed by MDA 2 Fifth Amendment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that was clear. I don't think I have any other points at the moment, so I'll let others speak, and I may come back.
Councilman Wilden?
Well, I appreciate everyone going first. My computer crashed in the middle of that and had all my notes, so they're back up now. Just wanted to talk to the landscaping requirement on page 19. It said, does not comply. Is that because you're replacing one tree with another type? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, the problem was they didn't show enough evergreen trees in their landscape plan. So that's a simple red line. They can add more evergreens and meet that requirement.
So I didn't see that in the condition. Is that?
In the conditions, it says that all red lines shall be addressed, and that's one of the red lines.
Okay. And then the other thing, I think, this is part of the public input. What was it, 2 weeks ago? Someone brought up the architecture, and it was in there that it did not comply, and we had a condition, but you're recommending striking that condition now? Is that?
Correct. Upon further review, so there was some confusion as to what applies and which amendment of the MDA along where we draw the line, which set of rules apply and which don't. We've done a deeper dive since that last report was written, and upon further review, they do meet Title 19 and they do comply with the MDA.
Okay.
And Councilman, sorry, and that's because this is governed by MDA 2 Fifth Amendment.
Correct.
And
Yes.
Title 19 trumps previous MDA requirements with the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, specifically, the second MDA Fifth Amendment does state that the Title 19, specifically MF10 zoning requirements, shall be applied upon the Neighborhood 4 and the multifamily portion of the project.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Stephen, may I?
Go ahead.
Because I want to piggyback on your comment. So from the architectural, one of the things we have pop-out requirements. We wanted to create dimension, especially on the backside. Do they have that? Okay, great, thank you. It's sort of hard on a flat, because you try and show shadow and things, but it's sometimes tricky. I think as future applications come in, I'm looking at Chriselle too, because she knows, like, diagonal design pictures, so I can see it a little bit there, but like on a 45, you can see a lot more of that kind of feel. So thank you very much for clarifying, Stephen. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate the park's gonna be in phase 1. I agree with the restroom. I will say the parking, like, unless you block this off, regardless of what sub-association or full HOA you have pickleball, they will come. Like, you could have people from the other side of Redwood Road, it will increase traffic, and I don't know how you do that with 9 parking spots. Like, I don't know if we have any comparison to other areas of the city. I just know in Harvest Hills, when we put in a parking lot, we had to, what did I say? Oh, pickleball. Yeah, it just created a lot of parking issues that we worked with the city. When I say we, the HOA worked with the city, not totally. They put some signs up that they weren't supposed to, but that got fixed later. But in any case, it became a parking nightmare. And there was how many pickleball courts? 2, so.
8, 9 spots.
Yeah, so.
I wish we had that in Harvest Hills.
Yeah. So I mean, 9's better than nothing. I don't see that everyone's gonna be walking there, especially when they have like visitors come. And it does look like on the plan, there's a number of off-site parkings in between different units. I guess I could count, but it wasn't enough there. I don't know what the rest of the council thinks. Does go.
I think it meets code.
If it meets code, then it unfortunately meets code, you know. Sorry, going through my notes, they got out of order. I will say, just going back on some of the history, I do think it's important that a lot of people don't realize we put a pause on issuing new permits for, what was it? They said it was 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, because the original discussion was the development community came to the city and said, hey, you need to upsize your sewer, you need to pay for it. The discussions are, you need to go and bond for it. The residents need to pay for it. And the staff and the council and the mayor, we all said no. And so there was a pause for 4 years, and the development community got together and paid for it. You know, I agree with a lot of comments that were made before. I know, like, by Harvest Hills, we approved some office warehouse. That's one of the things I hated. It impacts a lot of people I live by, and I have people that live in, but they were invested in it. They had the right to build that, and it's the same thing here. I have family and many friends that live in this neighborhood and immediate family that will be directly impacted on it. So I'm certainly not deaf to the impact of what things do. I do want to talk a little bit about the requested variances. It's not just the block length. I know it's only 250 feet, but I'm uncomfortable with modifying a block length when we don't do that anywhere else, as well as the setbacks, where we're saying, well, I guess 15 is consistent. Well, I see the 1,000 to 1,045, which honestly makes me uncomfortable. And then what are the variances that are being requested from, what would it be required right now versus the 4,080 and then the minimum lot width of 40?
Yeah, so, okay.
So if we didn't approve these variances, what would it be?
So single family, I believe, is 60. And Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, or is it 70?
For which setback?
For the lot width.
Oh.
Is this working?
Yep.
In a PUD, the underlying zone, in this particular PUD, the underlying zone is the R110 zone. And the challenge with that is a PUD is expected to have variations. The underlying zone is 10,000 square foot lots. However, none of the phases, maybe one of them, we have what's been approved already, and just one of those meets that. How do I go back?
Okay, but like if we
And
look,
then-
oh, sorry, go
So
ahead.
this right here shows that the variations we've given on lot size in the other phases, so every single neighborhood in Fox Hollow has been granted a variation on lot sizes, the smallest being the 2,980, and then it goes up to the 8,009. So none of them are, 10,000 square feet per the underlying zone. And then lot width, we've also given variations, not in every single neighborhood, but in several neighborhoods.
If I can as well add to that, so keep in mind that the Fifth Amendment, which governs this project, says that this project, Neighborhood 4, is subject to the MF10 zone. And those are the regulations that we're looking at. But they still need a few variations from the requirements in that zone.
So what are the variations between, not single family, between MF10 and what they're asking for? That's what.
The only one in MF10 they're asking for is the side yard setback. So the green number on the screen, the 15 feet, the underlying zone is 20 feet. So the only variation in the townhome area is the side setback, and that would impact 8 units that the side of the building is next to a street.
On the
Plus the block
single-family home,
length.
what is the minimum lot size?
That they're requesting?
No, see the 40,080, what is the minimum lot size?
10,000 in the underlying zone.
Okay. That's what you're looking for.
But it, kind of.
And the minimum
It's
lot
not
width
really
is-
the underlying zone, we're subject to the MF10 regulations, and so what's the minimum lot size for?
Yeah, so MF10 is multifamily, which means that footprint development is allowed. So in essence, you don't even need a lot width.
Okay.
Your building
So the
is
single
the
family is the
lot.
Let me
4,080.
explain the table just a little bit better. So the top row is single family.
Right, so,
And, yeah, go
so
ahead.
they're not proposing any single family really here. Well, they are.
The
Never
one
mind.
setback.
Yeah, yeah.
Next to
Majority
a
is
road.
single family.
Right, I was focused on the multifamily. Okay. Why don't we go to someone else for a minute?
And the typical lot size width is 60 feet, you were saying, in the,
70 in the R110 zone. The underlying lot width is 70 feet.
70 feet, and they're asking for 40.
Right.
And they're asking for, instead of 10,000, they're asking for 4,080. And if we go to that other table that shows all of the, it's the smallest, other than neighborhood 2, it is
Right.
the second smallest.
Right. And it's also in terms of the entitlements in the master development agreement, it's also more dense than these other neighborhoods. So these other neighborhoods had lower density than this particular one in terms of the entitlements in the master development agreement, which is why you're seeing more of a request in this particular phase.
Yeah, a couple of things to point out. You'll notice that none of the previous neighborhoods, all of them are below the 10,000 square foot minimum lot size.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we need
And
to go
that's
to,
because it is a PUD, and the intent of the code is we want to cluster these. We want to get these homes closer together than we normally would. If this was not on the hillside and it was not in a PUD, then you would just be seeing 10,000 square foot lots.
and I get that. I appreciate Councilmember Wilden bringing this up because it's bringing in focus the fact that they're asking for very much smaller lot size than administratively, to Councilmember Carn's point of view, we don't have to approve because administratively we can say it needs to be in line with the average of the other, which is probably closer to 5,000 or 6,000.
And
No applause.
I would be comfortable, sorry, I'm having a hard time pulling it up. The next smallest one was 4,500.
Yeah, if we go back to the other table, I think the next one is 4,500, then 4,552.
I
and
think
then-
I would be comfortable like following neighborhood 11 because that's, at least
the
with
width
the
size,
minimum
yeah.
lot size and the minimum width there. Because that's not overly inconsistent with what we've done in the other
There's
neighborhoods.
2 other neighborhoods
But
within that.
again, you're only referencing the single-family lots, not the
Right,
multifamily.
that's what I'm talking about right now.
Right.
Because the multifamily are not in, there's no lot
Right.
size really included in that.
Can I just make a comment? Remember, all in Neighborhood 4 includes both the single family and the multifamily.
Right.
And in the Fifth Amendment, it says specifically, it's subject to the MF10 zone requirements, not the R110, the MF10.
For the multifamily section.
No, for the entire project, all of neighborhood 4. The entirety of neighborhood 4, not just the single family, not just the multifamily.
Doesn't amendment, you keep calling it the Fifth Amendment, I think you're talking about the US Constitution.
Yeah.
Amendment 5, does Amendment 5 restrict the amount of multifamily that can be in there?
It does not.
It does. I think it was like 100 and something.
What is the number that it allows for?
136, which is what they're proposing.
So they can do 136 they're entitled to 136 multifamily with a total of 325. 335.
And they're proposing 308.
Right, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me correct that. This is kind of, it's interesting how this is all developed, but it actually does say attached. MF10 it's only for the attached units is governed by the MF10.
So then
But keep in mind too, as we're looking at entitlements, investing, you're looking at what is the most impact to those vested rights. And so we typically have a hierarchy of like zoning, density, and then you look at these other entitlements below. So you have to like primarily focus on ensuring that the entitlements for the zoning and density are respected first, and then you can kind of get to the next tier of the vested
Well, and I think
rights.
that's what Councilmember Wilden is saying. By 4,500, actually, I was going to go even a bigger minimum lot size, but I think that his argument is fair, that is meeting the 2 other neighborhoods are within that with the minimum lot width of 50. There's consistency there in terms of their entitlement. I was going to take an average of all of them and say that we could do that, but I mean, I tend to agree with sort of where Stephen was going.
If I could, I also want to point out that they're not using their full entitlement. So if they were to ask for the full 335 lots, the lot sizes would have to shrink in order for them to be able to utilize that. So to say that all of the other math that you see on this table should govern this neighborhood, you've got to remember the vested units that they have, and we can't necessarily hold them up from being able to exercise that. The variations that they are requesting,
Mark,
again, this is a luster of that, but again,
I don't agree.
all of these neighborhoods are very different in their acreage, in their sizes, and in their topography. And so that's why the PUD has the allowance for those variations to be allowed. Obviously, it's complex, but
This is also why we stopped using PUDs.
Yeah,
correct.
And Mark, I appreciate the comment, but I tend to disagree because they have an entitlement to the number of units, if you would, if it works, if it fits, if it meets all the code. I mean, I have got 20 different examples over my career on the city council that I can probably start pulling that said they were allowed this many units. Excuse me, everyone. They were allowed this many units, but they couldn't fit them on their project. If I'm being told that the code says 10,000 square feet and we're reducing that down to 4,500 and they lose 6 or 8 more units, they can't do more multifamily because they hit their maximum, and they can't transfer their density to other parts of the development. And if it's administratively allowed, why wouldn't I? So please don't applaud. Please don't applaud. I appreciate that, but please don't, because we're trying to have good discourse here. I just don't understand why I wouldn't if that's within my administrative rights. And this is where legal needs to come in, because I don't want to come back and get sued. But technically, from what I'm understanding, hearing from Sarah, hearing from Mark, and from Kevin, I administratively can vote against this if I don't have a minimum lot size of 10,000 and 70-foot width. And I'm saying, where's the compromise? And maybe we find the compromise, and that's where Stephen was saying different amounts. But that's just me. I want to hear from my peers.
Councilwoman Barton?
Where are we?
Oh, okay.
No,
I
have
saw your
something to
button push.
No, I was going to say something, but I
Okay.
didn't know if we were going to have that conversation.
Just keep going.
All right. Sorry, I'm trying to be able to talk because I have lost my voice. But So I just wanted to talk about just a couple concerns that I've heard from residents as well, because everybody's talked about a lot of the same stuff. And one of the concerns was the townhomes and the type of people that are going to buy the townhomes. That was a little, that concern was, it was really hard for me because right now the people I see that are buying townhomes are the newlyweds or an older couple that doesn't want a big home or a family with young kids or people like my adult children who are college graduates who have meaningful careers already in their late 20s, right? And so that concerned me. And again, as Councilmember Metcomber had said, I live in Harvest Hills and we do have a lot of townhomes up there, and so does he. And I value those neighbors. They're great neighbors. And so for me, that concern was really hard for me to take because I feel like, especially now, that townhomes, I don't know the riffraff that you guys were expecting to come in, but that's not who's buying townhomes right now. Again, it's these young families, it's these older couples, it's young kids or single, like my kids are single, they're looking at townhomes. And so that concern was really hard for me. Also, another concern that I wanted to address a little bit is the look of the neighborhood. I actually drove through quite a few of D.R. Horton's developments, and even one down in, I was going to say St. George, but it's actually in Washington, and I was actually very impressed. So I hope that some of you were able to maybe drive through some of their developments to kind of see what they look like. In fact, my son lives in St. George, and I said, hey, go check out this development. It's really great. And this was 6 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago before this even was before us. But so they have some really great developments out there. They have some great communities. And some of those concerns for me were a little hard for me to swallow. And not that I didn't listen to all of them, and I read every single email like all of us did up here. They're valid concerns, and I totally understand them. But I also, the people that are buying townhomes are people that we want in our city. And so in the north, in the south, in the middle, they're good people that are buying the townhomes. They're just good people buying single-family dwellings. We have good people. Again, a lot of the other concerns and other things that have been brought up, I appreciate everybody bringing those up. And those are just a couple things that I wanted to talk about. Again, I appreciate the emails. We love the discourse. We want to hear from you guys, so I really appreciate that.
Councilman Wilden.
I'll just go back to, as far as at least the minimum lot size, I feel more comfortable being consistent with 11. That way we're not pushing just to fit more in because we can. I know developers, they're allowed to ask for it. They're also, any developer's allowed to ask for anything they want.
And Stephen, just to back you up, that 4,500, if you take an average of all of them, even taking the 2,980, that really small, it's almost 6,000 minimum lot size square feet. So I think at 4,500, that's showing we're working with, et cetera, so.
And, I know there's like a variation on the, I have to scroll up, minimum lot width. I mean, we're going from 50 to 39. I don't totally understand that. I think that's like a unique number. It's like we're just trying to fit one particular product somewhere. I mean, the lowest we have anywhere else is neighborhood 2, which has the smallest lot size, and that's 42. I mean, I would be okay with 42 and 4,500 so that we're matching something that's there, not creating. And again, I know they can ask for it. They can ask for $1 billion too. But like, I'm just being silly there. But anyway, that's kind of my point. And have we recently ever like approved? I shouldn't say ever. Have we recently approved an increase on the maximum block length anywhere else? I'm just not aware of it.
Not under a PUD, however, we have under a planned community.
Okay, so we have recently within the last 16 years?
Yes, I believe
Yes,
Mount Saratoga.
Okay, I can get there if that's consistent with other things, but I can't get there on the 4,080 and the 39.
It's really consistent with the hillsides because as you've got the roads coming down, the steepness of those slopes, and then you can only have so much
Yeah.
variation and elevation on intersections and things.
I think that's fair as long as we've done it in other places and it's consistent. The other things are not consistent with what we've done here. And I know the topography is different everywhere else, but that doesn't mean that we need to fit everything in there that we can. But you guys, I appreciate you not coming in and asking for the maximum. And it has been, I wish we could have had this conversation in 2002, so.
Yeah.
I've been here 20 years, so that was before I even moved into the city.
Can I make a comment? Just, I think
Yeah.
I've got some context to how we kind of envisioned this, and to Councilman McComber's earlier comments about the feathering effect. We tried to transition, like you had mentioned, from the townhomes and the commercial up the hillside to our larger lot sizes, and we tried to completely cover the perimeter of the project. So if you look at the way the subdivision lays out, the 4,000 square foot and the 40-foot wide lots, they're the closest to the townhomes. And then as you go up, you get into the 50-foot wide, 60-foot wide, 65-foot wide. So we're trying to get to where we're transitioning from the townhomes up to where we're matching the neighborhoods in the surrounding areas. So it wasn't necessarily that we're shooting to fit everything in. We're looking for a minimum 40. It was more, we can fit more 65s, larger, homes with third car garages. We can fit more of those in there the more 40s we have. The more 45s, if it's a minimum of 45, we can't quite fit as many. So we were just trying to strike a balance of a different product type that kind of, right now there's essentially 4 different product types for 4 different types of households. The 40-foot wide allows us to hit a nice size home that D.R. Horton sells in a lot of other communities. 50 is a different series, and then 60 and 65 is a different series.
So your biggest lot is 0.28 acres in
Yeah.
here, 12,000 square feet.
Yeah, and essentially almost the entire perimeter. Some of them are 50, but we tried to put, and not just the perimeter, but the highest street across the street as well has primarily the 60 and 65-foot wide lots. So we tried to, kind of transition up the hillside, not just from topography, but also to match the surrounding area and feather towards the existing communities.
Mayor, I'm jumping all over the place, and I do apologize, and I want to address something that was in one of the in all the emails about schools, and I know staff addressed it, and I appreciate that. But we legally cannot make this decision on what Sage Hills can and cannot accommodate. It is not within state code for us to have that in our consideration. So, all 4 of my kids are in overcrowded schools. I understand the school district has an issue, but I cannot legally have that come into my decision-making. And I hope people understand that.
We could have in 2002.
Other comments? Councilman Wadden?
Yeah, just so people don't, we're talking the Fifth Amendment, people don't think I'm pleading the Fifth. But what I want to say is, I think the email that Councilmember Carn, I was going to call you Mayor Carn, but sent out addressed all the points that I think that were brought up through the discussions. I think we've addressed several of the amenities and stuff like that we're asking for as well. The one thing that I want to make sure that you guys know is your presence here, it does not go unnoticed. We are aware of it. We've done everything that I think we've counseled with each other and talked amongst ourselves and talked with you and replied and talked with staff and what we can do as a council, right? And what has been presented to us. Anyway, everything's been addressed so far. I don't want to keep going. It's already 8:06, and not that time is an issue, but I appreciate you guys coming out here. It was good seeing you. Several of you guys I've worked with, a few of you people. I've lived next to some of you, and I have friends in your guys' neighborhood, so I hear you. Not easy, but that's why we're here. Is not everything is a 4th of July parade. You know, sometimes we're up here to make decisions that impact our neighbors, and I want to let you know that we did hear you, and we do hear you. So anyway, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve preliminary plat and site plan for Fox Hollow Neighborhood 4, located approximately Village Parkway and Swenson Avenue. Dave Kelly, D.R. Horton as applicant, with all staff findings and conditions, with an added, removing condition 9, which I still don't understand why we're really doing that, but removing 9 and making the minimum lot size width shall be, what was it, Stephen? 42 or 44? What was it?
42 was the...
42.
42 instead of 40 feet. And then adding a condition, maybe we replace 9 with this condition, that the minimum lot size needs to be 4,500 square feet. Oh, and then also a condition that the lighting for the pickleball courts is addressed to meet city lighting code.
Is there anything in here about a bathroom?
No, I don't think there was.
Did you want to include, item
need-
number
we got a
11, you have to
motion on
choose
yeah.
yes or
Oh,
no on the
we got a-
And
bathroom.
the park
Yeah.
plan shall not include a restroom to accommodate the park programming. I think it's just adding too much complexity for the motion. If you don't like it, we don't have to vote for it, but.
So, second,
Okay, I have a first from Councilman McComber, second from Councilman Wilden.
can I suggest we just strike number 11, so if they choose to do a bathroom, they may? Because we're saying you can't do a bathroom.
So amended.
Second.
Okay, I have an amended first and amended second. Any further discussion?
Can I propose an additional finding?
Of course.
So because there's going to be a reduction in lot size, and what else was it?
An increase in lot size.
An
yeah.
increase in lot size.
And lot width, yeah.
And lot width, that'll probably result in a little bit less density.
Mhm.
But I want to just propose an amendment that's based on the MDA to the motion, that it's an additional finding, that the densities mentioned in the various development agreements is a maximum available density. And in the MDA, the original MDA, it says the actual number of units obtained is subject to an approved site layout, city engineer approval, resolution of physical constraint issues, and ability to provide infrastructure and utilities. And so your decision to reduce
Based on
or increase those lot size and lot frontage
Frontage and size.
is based on that language in it's actually footnote in Exhibit D of the original master development agreement.
Amended the second time per the attorney's points.
Second.
Okay, amended first, amended second. Any further discussion? Councilwoman Barton?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we have business item 3, preliminary plat and site plan for Saratoga Hills 7 LDS Church.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As noted, this is a preliminary plat and site plan for the Saratoga Hills 7 Church. This property was rezoned earlier this year, and as part of that rezone, there was an accompanying development agreement. That development agreement essentially divided this site into 2 different phases. Phase 1 consisting of the church that you're seeing before you this evening, and Phase 2 to come at a later date, which will consist of residential development according to the R110 zoning district. As part of that development agreement, certain conditions were applied to Phase 1 of this development. As currently proposed, the development does meet all of those conditions outlined in the development agreement. I failed to note that our applicant is here this evening. Leif Harris, if you'd like to join us. And this is located at the corner of Grandview Boulevard and Redwood Road. As part of the code review, there are several items that are in compliance. There are 2 items that I'd like to note that are shall comply. Those items are noted in the staff report in the findings and conditions, but I wanted to go over them this evening. The The first of those items is that the preliminary plat shall comply with all city regulations. There were a number of minor red lines that were on the preliminary plat. The applicant has seen those red lines and will address them prior to plat recordation. The second of those items is that the proposed dumpster area shall be oriented away from public view. As currently proposed, you can see here on the site plan that the dumpster area and storage area are located on the eastern portion of the property adjacent to Redwood Road. The applicant has been in communication with staff and is looking to move those to the south, closer to the pavilion kind of lawn area in order to comply with that requirement. And as I stated, those are noted in the staff report in the findings and conditions. These are the elevations proposed for the church. More elevations. This is the landscaping proposed. It does comply with code, and the lighting does comply with code. So with that, if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask, either I or the applicant are here to address them.
Does the applicant have anything they want to say before the council?
No, I don't have anything that I need to say. I don't have anything that I need to say.
Okay. Any comments from the council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm just glad this isn't the PUD.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve business item 3 as stated on the agenda, including all staff findings and conditions.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden.
I'll second that with the question for the applicant. Once this is approved, when are you moving forward on this?
Trying to build it right now, so as soon as possible.
So, and another question, on that piece of land, you've moved a lot of dirt around several times and created some mounds.
I don't think we've moved anything around. I think that was other people moving it around.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry.
that's quite a bit of movement.
They have gotten down onto this side and started doing some movement
Okay.
around. But they haven't.
You're not raising the elevation of the site, are you? For the build?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but it's going to be roughly.
'Cause they created quite a large plateau.
It's going to be a little bit higher than Redwood Road and then a little bit lower
Okay.
than the road to the west.
All right, I second it.
Perfect. I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Councilman Wadman?
Aye.
Karn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
McComber?
Abstain.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Sorry, I had to use
One
the I had
abstain.
to use the restroom, so I wasn't part of the conversation, sorry.
Thank you. We have business item 4, general plan amendment from rural residential to low-density residential.
All right, so this is a rezone. They're proposing going from RA5 zoning to the R110 zone. And then the general plan amendment would be going from the rural residential land use to the low-density residential land use. Approximate location, oh, sorry, applicant. And this is located approximately 191 north, 1000 west. We have the applicant here tonight to help answer any questions on this. There is also a development agreement that has been drafted that coincides with the proposed rezone and general plan amendment and concept plan. As far as the zoning is concerned, you can see on the screen here what they're proposing to rezone is highlighted there in the center of the screen, going from the green, which is the RA5 zone, to the yellow, which is the R110 zone. There is a portion of the project that would remain RA5, so you can see that in the bottom left there in green, that would remain RA5 as a lot that would comply with those standards. There's an existing home on that lot too, that should be mentioned. And then as far as the land use goes, you can see here again, going from green to yellow, from rural residential to low-density residential. The applicant has submitted 2 different concept plans. The primary reason for this is because the city's trail master plan does show a trail connection going through here, and so we wanted to make sure that that connection happened. However, because the land to the west is undeveloped, it's unclear where that connection will ultimately be. And so you can see here in concept A, the connection is shown further to the north. And then in concept B, you can see that connection is further south.
Will you flip that again?
Yeah. I'll just
Just
go
like the
back
eye
and forth
doctor.
a couple times.
A or B?
Yeah, Concept A does take the trail along and in front of those lots on the west side there, see, that is something to note. Whereas Concept B, it would be providing a trail corridor in between two lots. All of this connects to their open space, and in their open space, they do also show trails there as well, which you can see in the purple dashed lines. Another part of this let me stay on this screen for a little bit longer. So total lots 74. This is just a concept plan, so this is not preliminary. We're not vesting them with any, necessarily with this density tonight, but they're showing 74 lots. These are, you can see this, let's see, open space is 11.6%, net density 2.6. Let's see, yeah. And so, I mean, these really just are pretty standard R110 lots. There's nothing, I would say there's nothing to point out of the ordinary from what you would typically see in the R110 zone. One thing that we did want to highlight is there is an existing cell tower to the west of this proposed project. And that cell tower went in, it's been there for probably 20 plus years. It was built in the county. But we do have a standards for safety concerns, and so staff is recommending a distance of 100 feet from that tower, which is common for most monopole cell towers. That's, if lightning were to hit it or if the tower were to fall or whatever. So we're recommending, the tower is 98 feet tall, and so we're recommending a distance of 100 feet to the nearest residential.
For structure?
Yeah, for structure. Would that be for structure or lot, Sarah? What do you?
Because you have two lots that are in.
Yeah, so it would impact, you can see here as drawn, that would impact those two lots.
I would think it'd be structure, but
I'd be fine with structure.
I would be okay with structure personally, too.
Because then you make that.
It can go either way, definitely. So the lots that are being created are coming from parcel A. So if there's some property left over, it could remain in parcel A. So 100 feet to structure could be, but we're worried about the fall zone in a lot of these situations that we've looked at. So it's a good question whether or not you want to consider the backyards in that fall zone or not.
And this, just to add as well, this tower was built before it was annexed into the city. So it's a non-conforming tower. They're not necessarily subject to the 200-foot rule that we have in our code. And that's why this is up for discussion. This requirement would be something that we're requesting in the MDA, since this is an MDA and a rezone.
I would be okay with the structure, because the people buying it
They know they're there.
know what they're getting.
Yeah, I say structure as well, because then we're protecting the
Yeah,
people at sleep or whatever.
we're not talking about existing homes.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Is the applicant, anything you want to add?
I don't believe so on that specific item or overall.
Just
Just on that item?
No, I think we're fine with that if it's structure.
Okay.
That seems to make sense.
Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions.
So it's a very small rezone area. What is the value, and don't take this question the wrong way, what's the value to the existing residents by granting this rezone? Is it the trail we get through here? Anything?
Yeah, so in the development agreement, I mean, we do outline a couple of things. I mean, they do have to meet our open space requirements. They are showing an open space here. They do have the trails going through it. They are giving us the master plan connection. Other things.
It's connectivity.
It's connectivity, and they're single family, so it's harder because
Yeah.
we typically have exacted more for multifamily, but it's a good point. Are they constructing the trail connections? Or are they just giving easement?
The trail would be constructed with this project.
So
yeah.
they would put the cement sidewalk and, okay.
I would also point out that there is a lot of infrastructure that's going to be getting looped and built in here with the development of that from where it's currently undeveloped. This will also provide some connectivity. I'm assuming this will also have some road improvements along Fairfield Road. So I think that there's generally some utility benefit that will be coming to the community.
What are the
to
type of
answer
road
the question.
improvements on Fairfield?
We're getting a new
Is that like
surface.
an additional curb and gutter that goes in with it?
It would include, yeah, that north curb and gutter would be going in, sidewalks. trail-
Sidewalks,
you know,
especially in this
si-
area, sidewalks.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're going to be transitioning from basically an ag undeveloped use to a R10 developed neighborhood out in this area. So
And we're piping a canal.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only connection to Mount Saratoga is still Fairfield Road,
Yeah, they
right?
have
This
to go
doesn't
through the
connect.
They have to go through that neighborhood.
that public right-of-way to the north.
There would be a stub on the northwest to what potentially is
The public right-of-way.
Mount Saratoga.
Okay.
So I can't see it, but it's
Through this-
the
hard to see.
sidewalk that goes behind the
Goes
buildings
through
there on
that's how people get it.
Fairfield. Is it like right out against the road, or is there like rocks or?
The sidewalk on Fairfield Road, so that's gonna have to meet our right-of-way standards.
Okay, great. As long as it meets our standards, that's fine.
So, Mark, and isn't there an intersection going to be plumbed in there eventually too, right?
Ryder Station, which the next item is,
Okay.
would be kind of that other western bookend to
Okay.
some of that development conversation in there.
Because Fairfield is right in, right out, right?
Fairfield is right in, right out.
So if
and it-
people want to go northbound, they'd have to go through that subdivision to the
they-
west.
They would cut up to Evans Lane, yes.
Okay. Which brings up some concerns of some citizens about increasing traffic through there. So is that, and we'll talk about that next, I guess, but when that, because there is a light stub there, right? I've seen that.
At Ryder Station,
Okay.
there already is a light there.
Okay.
It's an Eagle Mountain light, but it's set up for the fourth leg of that to be connected through the Ryder Station application.
Okay.
There's also a collector proposed on the east side that this development's adding, so we talk about.
Yeah, you can see it, gets kind of cut off on the screen here, but that little squiggly line, that's actually the collector road.
And so I've driven out there and I've seen the kids walk along this undeveloped road. So I think this development, I mean, the improvements we would make would help them and the kids, have a protected, we're walking on the sidewalks versus that road, even though that's not the approved route, but anyway, that's what, because I gotta say that, it's not the approved route that the school puts out there, but anyway, thanks.
I know it's just a concept, but I like the concept where the trail is going in between the houses. If it just follows the sidewalk, it's just a concept. If it just follows the sidewalk, that for people doesn't ever really feel like a trail. It's just you're walking by someone's front yard.
Concept B.
Yeah, so that'd be my preference. We're not tying it to here, but I would say both plans, A or B, has 74 units, and I know it's a concept. I know we're not vesting rights or vesting units, but we are as soon as we give them the zoning. So if we do this, which I'm fine with, I prefer that we have a cap of 74 units. So you can go ahead and continue to make adjustments as necessary, but not. And I'm not suggesting you do this, it's just many developers have, they come in with something, then shrink all the lots, and then all of a sudden we have 5, 10 more units. I don't know that you could do this here, but that's just my preference.
I agree.
Okay. There's no further discussion. I'll entertain a motion. Kevin?
I'm sorry, I do have something. Oftentimes what happens when we see development agreements come in is language gets adjusted and changed from the standard template. The improvements that are required are specified in section 5 of the agreement. And what the intent of this is because there is basically an upzone, there's a general plan amendment and an upzone from what was planned for this project. The improvements listed in section 5 are required to be at the developer's cost. Now, somehow in this draft of the agreement, some language has basically snuck its way back in here. That was never intended to be here. So there is this exception that says, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, the city shall not require a developer to upsize any future public infrastructure for the project, basically without reimbursement. So that language needs to be adjusted. So I would just ask that you condition it on so that the improvements in section 5 actually are at the developer's cost, and that we're not upsizing for the system improvements for those improvements. Now, for anything beyond that, they would be eligible for reimbursement.
That makes sense for you guys? Okay. I will entertain.
I want to say I apologize for missing that. I just saw it now.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'm gonna try
You gonna
this
try
one.
it?
I'm gonna
Okay.
try it. I move that City Council approve requested rezone and general plan amendment for property located at approximately 191 North, 100 1000 West, with the findings and conditions in the staff report with, and an added finding that the condition of section 5 be at the developer's cost. Did I say that right, Kevin?
And then anything above their impact would be
Anything above that
reimbursable.
would be reimbursable,
Yeah, the specific improvements in section 5 are at the developer's cost.
In
And
section 5 are at the
anything beyond
developer's,
that
anything beyond
is
that.
upsized is the city obviously would reimburse for that.
The upsize would be, as stated by the council, by the legal counsel, Kevin.
Do you want to
From-
clarify number 4, the distance from the monopole to the structures? Shall be
For
100
structure,
feet?
100 feet from the structure,
And amend that the, what's,
minimum.
Condition 4 be 100.
condition 4 be 100 feet
To
From
the structure.
from
To
the,
a structure.
to the structure.
Good.
That we prefer option B with a max of 74 units?
Yes.
And we prefer option B as stated in
With a maximum of 74.
Well,
the maximum of 74 units.
You
Cal.
asked for it.
This is good training.
I'll second
I
that
have a
I'm
crazy-
gonna lose some of my,
I'll
some of
second
my
that
peers.
crazy motion.
Second, from Councilman McComber, any further discussion?
yeah, I think, you know, if you're willing to accept that, I wouldn't say we prefer 74 units. I would say that the total units shall not exceed 74.
Okay, amended, so made, with the shall not exceed
But we
74
prefer
units.
option B for trail.
Sure, and
With
we
option B,
Yeah, that's still in
preferred
there.
option B, but it's a concept plan, so.
Correct.
yeah.
I'll amend my second.
Okay, I have amended first and amended second. Any further discussion? Okay, I will do a roll call. Councilwoman Barton?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Mayor, 5 minutes?
What was that?
5 minutes.
Okay, we'll take a short 5-minute recess.
Specific for what? No.
Am I on? Okay, we'll resume our meeting with business item 5, Ryder Station Development Agreement.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm going to come down here so I can see the screen a little bit better. I don't have to strain my neck, so.
We're also going to ask the applicant to go to the other side.
You can be
Yes.
over here on this other table.
Sorry, we're pulling a switcheroo, so thank you.
Actually, I sort of like staff being at the table. I think I actually like staff being at the table versus standing.
All right, so this is Ryder Station, sorry, yeah. So we're doing the development agreement tonight, and this is on 1193 West Fairfield Road. So it's just south of Fairfield Road and north of Pony Express. It's zoned community commercial. There are no plans to rezone, no proposals to rezone it. They want to develop it as community commercial. You can see here, this is a concept plan and phasing plan of what they want to do. So the concept, you can see it's a number of retail buildings. There's a detention basin on the northeast corner of the property. And then there's a couple larger buildings here. You can see one is 3,200 square feet on that one side. And then there's that building in the middle, which is 22, and this is a concept, right? So these are not precise, but 22,000 square foot building with like a loading bay on the back there. So phase 1 would be left of what is Woodhaven Boulevard. That's the road that goes through this development. With phase 1, they would install Woodhaven Boulevard and those 3 buildings. And then in phase 2 would come at a later date, which is the green there in the middle. And that would be 3 more buildings, one of them being the larger building in the middle. And then finally, phase 3 would be the property on the east. And that is fronted by a canal on the east side. So on the easternmost property boundary, there is an existing canal there.
Can we make sure that the image is updated that shows lot 2 is over, and then there's no lot 3 written in the diagram, in the picture? Because it's not showing the 3 phases, it's only showing, labeling 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Just
we
fix
can
it
do that.
later.
Yeah, that we can make sure they fix that with their next submittal.
It has the phases.
So this item, we did discuss this at the previous city council meeting a little bit, and there were some concerns about landscaping as well as windows on some of these buildings and screening of the loading area on that middle building. So just to quickly cover some of those things, in Title 19, 1604, 7B, we do have this section that talks about where we require a 6-foot solid wall to screen loading areas. And so as Title 19 is currently written, that would apply to this development. The section I that you see on the screen there, with regards to landscaping, that is something that typically only applies to heavy commercial, office, warehouse, and light industrial. So we're recommending that be added as a condition of approval, that they have to landscape it in that manner with the 10-foot landscape area and trees every 30 feet adjacent to the public right-of-way. And let's see here, development agreement updated language. And then so we've also updated this section in the development agreement since this last came to city council based on the feedback of the city council. You can see here in the yellow is the highlighted portion of the text there is new language. So it says, however, where a loading bay exists, 15% of the upper floor elevation shall be windows or glass. For the purpose of this development agreement, upper floor is anything above 15 feet as measured from the finished grade. So the idea behind this language here is it's gonna get us windows on that loading bay area. It's gonna put windows up on top. And it kind of gets around them having to have windows on where the loading door is. This is the recommended motion, so you can see here, yellow, again, is new language being added. The red is something that the applicant would like to discuss tonight, which is the vesting of this project. So right now, staff is recommending that it be vested. at the time of preliminary plat and site plan, with the uses being vested with the DA. I believe the developer would like to propose something else, so they're here tonight to propose something different than that.
Thank you. Mayor, council, guys, thank you so much for having us tonight.
Sorry, you got to be close to these.
There you go. Okay, Mayor, council, thank you so much for having us tonight. As far as the development agreement goes, with every other aspect that we've been considering, we're completely fine with, as far as the landscaping and the other conditions that have been put in. The only thing that we were hopeful for tonight, or that we're asking for, is under the development agreement, the use of the property would be consistent, and we appreciate that. The whole point of the development agreement is to create consistency and predictability for both the city and for us. The code, though, is the one aspect that I'm a little bit concerned about with a growing city. We're hoping that some of the code, or most of the code, can stay consistent for at least a 5-year duration. We believe that this is an 8 or 17-acre parcel. It's going to take 5 years to build through. And a little bit of our concern is that if the code changes in the city, say widths of roads or overall heights of buildings or things like that, what we have been marketing to will not be permitted to these individuals at the final approval. For example, we are courting grocery stores at this moment, and some of them are larger, they're national chains, and they just take time. Meaning we could be 3 years in negotiating with them, and they're going to go through their full design process, and they're going to understand what the setbacks are for the roads, they're going to understand what the heights are for the buildings, they're going to understand what's expected for the facades. And then when we finally come in for it, I'm nervous that because the code was not vested, the use was, but not the code, that something would change, and it may be just the tipping point for them to say, that's okay, we'll go somewhere else.
Are you asking for 5 years?
I'm asking for 5 years.
I think that's fair. We do 10 for other things. I think that's a fair ask.
Our feeling is if we're not totally completed within 5 years, then we're at your mercy. We'll come back and ask for permission at that point.
And you can express that too.
Exactly.
Okay.
And let's be honest, if you got a great job creator, we're going to work not to kill it.
Yeah.
One thing, Mayor and Council, if I may, I just wanted to point out too, based kind of on some of Kevin's comments earlier, is we've actually had a couple of development agreements going back and forth, so we just want to make sure that legal has a chance to review the final one before that gets signed and executed.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve Ryder Station Development Agreement located at 1193 West Fairfield Road. Adam Hearn as applicant, ordinance 25-69 dated today, with all staff finding conditions, including a change to condition 3. The project shall be vested for 5 years based on this motion, and that and adding a condition that this development agreement will be once more verified by legal counsel as the appropriate development agreement that is being approved today.
Okay, I have a first from Councilman McComber.
I think I'll second that.
I have a reluctant second from Councilman
Isn't
Carn.
that what they asked me to do?
Yeah.
Is that what you asked? Yeah.
And I do have a question.
Okay.
You're courting certain businesses. Do we have an idea of what size, like Walmart is or Smith's Marketplace?
They're
The
big.
square footage?
So in this development, those type of uses probably wouldn't fit nor be permitted. Most of those larger boxes need 500 feet in both directions, and
Okay.
we're a mid-box. We're more like a Trader
Joe's.
Joe's.
Don't say that. You're on the public record.
So I didn't say that, but
You said it. You said it. No, but you're looking at more of those type size, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great.
Okay.
Can I just, I just want to clarify, because we're going to be changing the DA accordingly to what your motion is, but the last meeting we had, when we were talking about vesting, staff has never said we're not vesting for whatever, for the period of time that we talked about. What we said is we're okay vesting them with density and zoning, but everything outside of that, we just do what we typically do, which is it defaults to whatever the Title 19 requirements are at the time of an actual plat or site plan submittal. So for like, you know, fencing, architecture,
And I was-
signage and all that, are you okay?
I was
vesting
aware of
them
that.
now with
I was aware of
everything?
that, Kevin.
Okay,
I was willing to
perfect.
give them 5 years so that they can work with the various applicants before they submit their, because they can't really submit an application when they don't know who the tenant is going to be and what the size of the building will be. So I made the motion for 5 years to give them that kind of protection, and it was seconded.
Yeah, that
I mean, it
helps me. That
Took
makes
us
it
almost
clear.
10 years for
Thank
Home
you.
Depot, so this isn't unreasonable 5 to ask.
Okay, we'll make that change. No problem.
Perfect. Okay. Roll call. Wadman.
Aye.
Karn.
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
McComber.
Aye.
Barton.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, we have business item 6, improvements, reimbursement agreement, and dedication for Golden Hills Park.
This one's finally coming. But it's finally coming.
All right, hello.
Purcell, if you want to come up. Okay.
Okay, Golden Hills Park. This is up by Dandelion Drive and Mountain View Corridor on that southeast corner. And the developer would like the city, so this is existing, it's all built. The developer is Sunrise 3 LLC. They own this park right now and maintain it. But the developer would like the city to consider accepting this park as a regional park in the city, owned, maintained by the city. If the city decides to accept the park, there's a few items the developer would be required to install, some safety items prior to the transfer. But regarding costs, I wanted to give you a little bit of a breakdown. Our current level of service for regional parks is 3.22 acres per 1,000 residents. This park is 6.23 acres, so that equates to 1,935 residents that it would be serving per that level of service with our adopted level of service. To put that in perspective a little bit better is our current parks impact fee is $815.14 per person. So when you multiply the 1935 by the 815, that comes out to 1.57 million. That 1.57 million is what our current level of service, the cost for that would be. The numbers that come in from the developer that are verified reimbursable costs are 2.48 million and some change. So, and that includes the land value of $6 a square foot. So what I'm saying is if we accept this park as a city park and we would reimburse them through impact fee credits, it's $900,000 roughly more than the current cost average of our current impact fee. And so we would end up also updating our IFFP for parks and afterward if the city decides to accept this as a regional park. And that is all I had.
Questions from the council? Anything from the developer?
Don't think so, but we're glad to be here on your first meeting in your new building.
Okay.
I do have a question. Yep. So for me, I've sort of been moving away from all these smaller parks around the city because a lot of cost mobilize our lawn equipment, the snow removal of the parking lot. I know that there's some punch items for safety reasons, but the design of this park. It has a pretty good fall zone, and I just don't know if that's a liability. Even if they do some improvements, I just know kids are they love to push the limits. And for me, I'm just hesitant to take on an island like this where I would rather put our maintenance costs and things into the expanding of this campus to potentially what we have to do in Fox Hollow, what we might be doing in the North Marina. And so I meant to reach out to the Parks Department and get an idea of what the annual cost would be to the city to maintain this, but it's a pretty big footprint. I imagine it would take a crew a full day.
I think, do you mind?
Please.
I don't disagree with that. The one, for me, mitigating factor is we have common space adjacent to this that we're already mobilizing to.
And where's that?
So there's a little triangle that's,
But we don't maintain that. There's no grass there.
no, we do. That's grass.
That one little triangle?
Yeah, so there's a triangle with sidewalk through the middle of it. We mobilized to mow that.
By the,
This right here.
Just west.
That's HOA common area, he's saying.
Oh, I thought that was ours.
I apologize.
I'm trying to move the mouse up.
Here, it's labeled.
That's
It's labeled as common
HOA,
area.
yeah. It just shows
So
it
what,
now.
so we're just
We-
maintaining around the pond then?
We just maintain the pond and
Which is
keeping the
around-
weeds down.
And the tank, the pond and the tank.
Yeah, keeping the weeds down. We don't have any lawn mowing equipment
Okay.
coming here.
We do maintain Harvest Hills, which is not too far distant. So
But Harvest Hills is an entire day crew, so they would have to still mobilize the next day.
it's a massive park.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's huge.
just, that, I'm just stating, the
No,
reason
you're-
why I'm
that-
voting the way I'm voting is because I just have consistently been saying that we need to move away from these and move to more of our regional parks, to the mayor's point, more gathering spots, more bringing the city together versus community by community. And I don't feel like we're getting any real cool amenity other than liability. There's like the play equipment's not unique. It's not like we're getting a splash pad or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not seeing anything of significant other than just a lot of grass,
Is
parking lot,
Golden Hills Park today,
HOA park.
it's an HOA park for which community? Wildflower.
I'm just gonna, can I say something?
Yeah.
Sorry. I agree with Councilmember McCumber. I think when this was first brought up, I was against it, and I still am against it. A lot of for the same reasons that Councilmember McCumber said, but also I just don't feel like it's a city park. It's not a gathering place. Technically, I think it's a hard park to take your kids to. And so I think even less people would go to it than we'd want to go to one of our regional parks. So yeah, I just don't think I'm against it for lots of reasons, but those are just some of them.
Can I
Real
get
quick too, I'm sorry, if I can real quick. There's the maintenance, is there a bathroom at this park?
There is a small restroom right near the parking lot there. And in the staff report, it estimates about $58,000 a year to maintain this facility.
Okay, thank you.
So what is the definition of a regional park? I guess I should, because isn't that to give access to, and it's got to have parking, it's got to have access and bathroom and,
And over
Okay.
5 acres, right?
Yes.
This is 6.2.
Yeah,
Okay.
this meets the size requirement because it is above 5 acres. Originally, it was intended to be an HOA park as it came in, and then this request came later on. So, yeah.
because I kind of in line with McComber, Councilman McComber. And
With this park, a lot of times when they do HOA parks, there's extra density or something granted. Was there something tied to this park?
It was the total entitlements of the community plan and village plan for Wildflower.
So does Wildflower have to maintain a certain amount of open space, and by deeding this over to the city, would it jeopardize their open space requirement?
I don't believe so. Sarah's shaking her head no.
Well, because it's still open space, we're just not maintaining it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't let them count it towards their open space if we took it.
Whether it's public or private, it still counts towards the total open space.
So that's why I don't want to pay for it if I don't have to.
Why would I want to pay?
Can I raise one point? So this, you all make great points, and we've had long talks with staff who I know aren't the decision makers of the city, you guys are, about all of these various points. One of the things that we've brought up and identified is that the current IFFP for the city for parks and open space includes this within the level of service. I wasn't aware of that. I think that might have been an oversight, but there is some anticipated impact to the city already in the IFFP and by default the IFA, that this would become a city park, and then there would be some fees collected or reimbursed for the improvements connected with that park.
Can I add a little bit of clarification? There is on our Parks and Trails Master Plan a park near this location that's meant to be fill a deficit in this area. However, it is a slightly different location, but the location is shown on will not have a park.
Sorry, I missed all that.
What he's saying is accurate, that we anticipated a public park in this general location. However, that doesn't mean we have to take it.
Okay, thank you.
That's actually how our IFFP works. It doesn't allocate impact fee funds to any specific park per se, except outside of the marina and Patriot Park, it does for that. But there's also a portion of parks that had to be developed in other parts of the city. And this is an area in the general city where impact fee funds are at some point need to be spent on a public park. So accepting this does meet the needs of the city that way, but you can also allocate other funds in the future for another city park in this area if you can find some area. But accepting it does allow that to happen according to the IFFP. So there is, I don't know if I would call that a benefit, but I think it is a benefit. Does it outweigh all the things that you mentioned? That's obviously a policy legislative decision for you to consider.
So when this first came in, it was intended on our part to be an HOA park, right? Okay. That's how it originally was intended, at least on our understanding it came in. And this really isn't, like, I get it, we have a pond there and a water tank. Is that what that is I'm looking at?
That's it.
I should know. I've been up there a bunch of times. But the maintenance on that's super low, and it's really not a very accessible park. It's really, it looks like the parking lot's okay, but it's pretty limited access getting in and out of it.
Any other comments from the council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we, wait, where are we? What number are we on?
6.
6, okay, thanks, sorry. I move that we deny improvements reimbursement agreement dedication for Golden Hills Park located in the Wildflower Development Resolution R2570 dated as today.
I have a first from Councilwoman Barton,
Second.
second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion? Barton,
Aye.
Wadman,
Aye.
Comber,
Aye.
Carn,
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Business item 7, update to the sanitary sewer master plan.
Right, yes, another sewer item. So this.
You've got
yeah.
Mark figured out. You're doing well.
This for adoption of updates to our city's sanitary sewer master plan. The last time we updated it was in 2020. In 2023, we hired Bowen and Collins to do this update, so they've been working on it since then. One thing that we put a lot of effort into, or they put a lot of effort into, is gathering the best data we could get for the model for our sewer system. So spent a lot of effort getting good, accurate inverts of the pipes at the manholes throughout the city, and plugging that into the model, finding the errors, and working through those. And from that model, we've developed the sanitary sewer master plan. This helps us a lot with things like identifying bottlenecks in the system, getting those taken care of, it's instrumental in our reviews for engineering as we talk with developers, and a lot of times it's pre-applicants, and when they come in, they're asking questions about what master plan projects are going through their properties. And mostly we use it for understanding build out of the city and what are the capital projects that we're going to have coming up. And they do a good job at the end of this showing different capital projects and putting them a figure on it, one page. It's this one sewer line and this is the cost and what's involved with it. They put that at the end of the sewer master plan. So yeah, that's what I have.
Appreciate all the work that went into this. This is huge. It's much more informative than it has been in the past. So appreciate all the efforts. I mean, 2 years is a lot of work.
Is there any questions from the council? Councilman Wadman?
I'm just curious where you got your annual average projected growth rate? Is that just
Based on
because
our
I think that's
history.
being conservative. I mean,
Is
not
it?
some.
I don't know.
No, I
It
think
would-
you're okay. I don't. That's
So,
not conditional.
Councilmember Wadman, we coordinate all of the growth rates amongst all of our different impact fees so that they remain consistent amongst themselves.
Okay.
And quite honestly, we try and be as accurate as we can. However, since 2020, we've broken all of the projection models.
I know, exactly.
And so it just speeds up the timing in which we need to build some of these projects. And so us frequently refreshing our impact fees is how we're staying on top of this. And one of the things that is really important to note is a lot of the infrastructure that we have in our master plans really gets built by developers. And so there is a collaborative partnership that we very much appreciate that's happening, and we're trying to be proactive to make sure that whether it's a water line or whether it's a trail or whatever, that we're helping to integrate these master plans into the development process. And so a lot of the development agreements that we do generate the developers building that infrastructure and helping to fulfill the master plans.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve business item 7 as stated on the agenda.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden.
Second.
Second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion? Karn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. No? Business item 8, update to the water element of the general plan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is an update to the general plan that was required by changes made to LUDMA and the state legislature. So they required some additional detailed information on our water usage and water planning process in the general plan itself, not just by reference. So we did get a grant from the State Department of Water to hire a consultant to help us with this. So we did use a consultant.
They actually funded their mandate.
So this was done by Hanson Allen and Luce. So they worked with both planning and public works to get this done. But other than that, it's very similar to the housing update that we did a couple years ago. So we've just proposed that their memo be adopted into the general plan as an appendix because we're not going to redo the whole paging and everything. So I've added a statement in the same format that we did the housing element. So just on the bottom right, it says C Appendix C, and then that will be the memo that they provided. And I'll turn this over to you for questions at this time.
Mayor, if I could interject, one of the things that I think is really quite critical is we hear a lot of rhetoric in the community that we don't have adequate water supply in our community. The table 11 in the report actually highlights that we do have adequate drinking water to meet our build-out projections, and our build-out projections are determined by that water. We do need additional water in our secondary system, and we'll continue to get that as properties develop, as water rights are dedicated to the city, as irrigation water comes in from, ag converting to residential uses and things. We've planned for that. There are a couple big variables. We are looking to try and get some reuse water back to the city, which would save us, quite a bit of water for our community, but ultimately, we do need some additional water in the secondary system, but it's not because our systems are broken or anything of that nature. It's, we anticipate that water coming in with those development activities. So just wanted to point that out, as it's a common common claim in the lore of what we're doing, but we are effectively doing our water planning. Thank you.
Perfect. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve business item 8 as stated on today's agenda, ordinance 25-75.
Second.
I have a first from McComber, a second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion?
I want to thank the state for actually stepping up and paying for their mandate.
Okay. McComber.
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Barton.
Aye.
Wadman.
Aye.
Carn.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have business item 9, amendments to Title 19 Land Development Code.
We have a table back there.
Yeah, that's
That's the bullpen.
That's where they're hiding.
They get to hide back there now.
I didn't know that. I know.
That way they can warn.
That's so cool.
That's where the
Good evening,
reserve
Council.
pitchers sit, back there.
This is a pretty straightforward amendment we're looking at. We are looking to amend the off-street parking requirements in regional parks. Essentially, we're trying to facilitate city-sponsored events like farmers markets, carnivals, that sort of thing, and make it easier to get food trucks and carnival rides and that sort of thing into our regional parks. So as you can see here, we're just adding this exception here that allows for regional public parks to be exempt from the landscape island requirement in the areas where events will be held.
So to be very specific on this one, and thanks, Joel, as we're looking at the next phase for Patriot Park, what we would like to do is have a large parking lot area that doesn't have the islands interrupting it, so that we could do farmers markets, we could do swap meets, so we could put the carnival on the asphalt as opposed to putting it out onto the grass. And so this would be a very small exception that would allow us to program some asphalt space in parking lots that would give us more flexibility and less repair replacement, if you would, after we have these big events on the grass as we're currently doing it. So again, it's looking forward, and I like the comment also in the marina parking lots, but we're looking to use this very selectively. It's certainly not to get away from creating, having islands, but we already have the landscape and the open space, and we're trying to make it more functional.
I think this is great, Councilman McComber. We started civic events, it was small, it could fit on a corner of a piece of grass, but the impact on the lawn is getting harder and harder as the event gets bigger. As a city, I think we need to have this so that we can hold these events and not damage parks and cause backlog. And to Michael McComber's, Councilman McComber's point in the past, the lawns just take the abuse. We try and grow them out, they get long, we beat them. This is great overall.
Great.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
So made to business item 9, approving as stated on the agenda, ordinance 25-76.
Second.
I have a first from McComber, second from Barton. Any further comments?
Only question is, if we don't have the islands, do we anticipate any issues with proper parking lot lighting for safety? Okay.
And it wouldn't be a change in any lighting requirements, so that you'd still have to meet that.
Wadman?
Aye.
Carn?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have business item 10, approval of annual city council regular meeting schedule.
I think the new council should meet daily.
At
6
least
days a
at
week.
least
I
weekly.
second that.
The first, 4 years?
4
We had to
years.
meet every week.
For 5 to 6
We
hours.
were 5 or 6 hours every week. Mark came in and said,
What?
So
Mark
daily,
changed
right?
that real quick.
Staff doesn't have to be there, just the council, mayor.
I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the annual city council regular meeting schedule for next year, dated resolution 25-72.
I have a first from Councilman McComber,
Second.
second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion?
No, this is the printed agenda, but we will most likely, we end up shifting things sometimes.
I need to just specify the date that you want on that one. The 8th?
Oh,
December 8th or December
so
1st.
can you change your motion and I'll amend it? 8th is great.
Amending my motion to December 8th.
Second.
I have amended first, amended second. Any further discussion? Okay, Barton.
Aye.
Wadman.
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Carn.
Aye.
McComber. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. We have business item 11.
Oh, I didn't welcome to the meeting.
Amendment to the city code for implementing data privacy program and designation of a CAO and other officers.
Mayor and council, I'm going to take a little bit of an indulgent, even though I'm prolonging the meeting. Big D has a team here of Jameson, Hunter, Troy, and Kurt was here earlier, along with some other crew that have stuck with us. They deserve a ton of credit, along with MSR, to get us to where we are here today and to make this meeting actually function. We could not have had that many people at our current building, so I want to give them shout out and appreciate them staying late. You can tell they don't attend a lot of these because they said, "Oh, this is really interesting," and I, invited them back for the next 10 to see if they want to have the same thing.
Come back every day next year.
Yep. Mayor and council, with this, with recent state law changes, the legal department helped me. Well, actually, they did most of the work. Let's be honest. To get this code changed, we have to designate a CAO for the data privacy program. This is a requirement. We are designating Mark, or the city manager, as the CAO, and then the city recorder is the records clerk, and then the assistant city manager is the data privacy officer.
Are we doing that by title or by name?
Title.
Thank you.
If the code set has it by title, and I apologize, I was naming individuals to start. This is, we also have a report that we'll have to finish by the end of the year to be in compliant with our data privacy program to have that started, which that's underway, and there will be continued changes as additional law and requirements come online. So with that, this will require additional staff focus and time. This is unfortunately an unfunded mandate, if you will. But it is something that technically has been required in state law previously. It's just been more of a lean towards transparency under grandma rather than data privacy. So with that, the state has a big push on data privacy, and that affects us. So that's what this item is, and we'd appreciate your consideration for approval.
And can I just add really briefly, we didn't know exactly where, I didn't know exactly where to put this in the code, and so if you notice, I asked Owen just to leave the numbering off, and we'll find a place within the code to place that, which we have the authorization in Title I of our code, as well as the Utah Code to codify ordinances. So you're passing the language here, and then it's going to be codified and put in the appropriate place in our code. We have a couple chapters that it could go, and we'll have to move it around a little bit, but it's in the short window of time that we had, I didn't have time to codify that properly. So we're also asking for the delegation to codify this into the city code.
Yeah, thank you. That's good clarification.
I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the amendments to the city code from implementing data privacy program and designated CO and other officers, resolution R25-73, dated today, with all staff findings and conditions, also adding a condition that will allow staff to identify the location within the code and codify it.
I have a first from Councilman McComber.
Second.
Second from Councilman Wadman. Any further discussion? Wilden.
Aye.
Wadman.
Aye.
Carn.
Aye.
McComber.
Aye.
Barton.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay,
We
Mayor
have
and Council.
business item 12.
Sorry, Mayor, jumped ahead of you. Just trying to get done. Last item on the agenda, discussion of RC Rock Crawler Park. As you know, we've talked about this previously. We have worked with the county. They're interested, and we worked with a consultant to come up with a very high-level concept plan. So with this, if you're not familiar, the plan is to have this at the RC Park, Inlet Park, some county land there. And Mayor wanted to have a discussion on this, but basically it would be themed in the Mighty Five, so the 5 national parks that we have here in the state of Utah, and obviously be an awesome amenity to our RC park offerings. So with that, Mayor, I will obviously give the time back to you, and we're here as staff to answer any questions.
Just kind of bring this in, as we've got the whole RC park area, this particular piece, working with the county. We've met with Commissioner Beltran There's some TTAP funds that we can bring into this and match. We've also met with one of the larger local hobby shops to see about maybe Traxxas or somebody sponsoring it like we've done with the park, Patriot Park. You know, and there's also some funds for outdoor recreation grants to get kids off the couch. You know, these different parks are built for the 124th, the 110th, and the bigger crawlers. It gets kids out. If you've been involved with any of the kids or you saw it at the parade, they modify these, they work on them. I mean, it's not like when we were kids and you could afford to work on a car as a kid because parts were cheap. This is about the price of a car when we were 16. But, you know, it gets it out. The arches, Zions, and all that, the themes is just great. The hope here tonight is to be able to have a discussion so we can give staff direction to move forward, because we've got to get this dialed into a plan. Amongst the RC community, there are many contractors that are big into this community that are like, I'd love to donate some time or equipment or bring boulders from my landscaping company. But we need to know what we need, the quantities, so that we can start moving forward and start going after those grants to make this become a reality. Because right now, if you've walked out to that area, this collects couches, garbage, clothes, mosquitoes. So to build this up and clean it up really is an amenity driver for what's part of our bigger regional park from Patriot clear over to the new marina.
And Mayor, this goes along with the RC airplanes that are out there.
It does. RC airplanes, we have an airport, we have a helicopter pad, we can put boats in the water, and we'll have crawler area. It'll be right off the new bus stop so that kids can get out of the house, get outdoors, and stop sitting on a couch all the time and walk around and kind of
What I
be
love
active.
about it is we need stuff for teenagers. We have a lot of great parks and stuff like that, but to have some more activities for like the older kids to do, like we're needing that. This is like the perfect thing for that.
And I love that it's a continuation to your point. I just want to reiterate that, like Patriot Park, Inlet Park, RC Park, and then the North Marina. This is becoming a really amazing regional park. One large, huge park, our central park, if you would. Eventually, I even anticipate over an Inlet Park, potentially the skateboard park in that one section. So again, these would be very complementary.
And I'm not familiar with this activity. I mean, I played around with RC cars when I was a kid, but would this have the potential of bringing like not a tournament, but like competitions?
There'd be some.
There's some events that could come, like we could have a fall crawl where we bring people in for little competitions. We've worked with Brandon and Tim from Vortex Hobbies to kind of get input. They came down and met with Owen. Councilman Karn was there, and Commissioner Beltran to kind of say, hey, here's what could come to this area with this. And that's where Commissioner Beltran was like, hey, we can get into this. But really, it's getting kids outdoors.
Go on any hike right now in the mountains, you're going to have 10 to 20 people with their RC rock crawlers
Put
on
a little
it.
Moab, you'll see it everywhere.
Exactly. They just all have, and so this is giving them their own space, they have ownership, and it will be very well received.
Oh, and how will this agreement with the county work on the land?
To be determined.
TBD. Okay,
Yes.
but they've expressed a willingness.
Yeah, it could.
The three county commissioners to do a long-term.
Correct. It could work like
easement to
Inlet
us or
Park, where it's
something.
basically a long-term lease for $1 or something like
Right.
that. Like we can do that. It could be, it could come in a variety of interlocal agreements or MOUs.
So when I met with some of the owners of these stores, like, they're really giddy about this. This isn't my world, but
It's definitely a
we've
world.
got a commercial area just across the bridge on that bend of Pony, and when commercial was in there, I could see a larger hobby store parking themselves right there. To every time someone
One of the three big
crashes their
ones-
plane or wrecks their car.
Either the one here in Saratoga will grow, or one of the three big ones will want to be in that commercial area, because where can you go and have every hobby?
Yeah.
And when it breaks, or Chris shows up with a much cooler mod,
Yeah.
you can go buy that same mod. A lot of these RC crawlers start out at about 5 pounds, 6 pounds, and end up at 16 pounds with brass and lift kits. And
They also talked about, it's probably small, but they host these events where they get 100 to 200 people. that come into, they drive a long way to these locations
And
and
it's-
they compete all day.
And they buy our food
And
and buy our
and
gas.
I love the concept of the Big Five, and if we could even get,
That's the best part about it.
well, I'd like to even investigate if the state tourism
Would help with
would
it.
help with, would grant
Well,
money
and
to it, yeah.
One of the big enthusiasts that we met with, he mentioned it just to some people, and they were like, man, I would stop by on a pass-through because of the theme. It's the Big Five. If I'm driving from Salt Lake down to St. George, I want to stop and crawl on the Big
Saratoga's
Five.
Big Five.
So
Yeah,
I-
Saratoga's Big Five,
And I just want to say, I love the parking lot design because that parking lot is, that middle section is just horrible. It's very
It's wasted
confusing, wasted space, and it also makes it difficult for getting in and out because when you're pulling out, people can fly in right behind you because there's no island. So I actually think that we're solving a problem, a potential liability issue. And then with this kind of activity and with the RC planes, it has a question mark next to restroom. Hell no, that needs to be a restroom
Yeah.
because right now it's an outhouse.
well, and that middle parking area could be for the 1/30th scale crawlers, the tiny little things that little kids like to play with.
Yeah, and I love the idea of putting the sign there right as you're coming in, and it can be the more all-inclusive RC park. And then they can have the rock crawler sign as you're going into that section, and then they can have their sign going into the airplane section. But I just think the design is fantastic. I think it's a great addition and great future for this area.
So Mayor and Council, in summary, we should start going after grants and other funding sources before we.
Yes.
Correct. We need to get that next level design to do that.
But I don't think you need all of the money. I think that the future council obviously can make a decision,
Sure.
but I think if there's valiant effort being made, I think to Councilwoman Barton's comment, this is something for teenagers and young adults that we're not really providing a lot of that amenity in Saratoga Springs.
And I don't know if the state has trademarked the Big Five.
They're national, so they're,
Yeah, I know the state of Utah uses it in their advertising a lot, so.
right, it's a national, yeah.
And we just use that as the theme, but
I think the Big Five is,
It's a
I think
draw.
calling it the Big Five draws.
Actually call it Big Five, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've asked Mayor-elect Karn if the council in the future is good with it. I would like to be on the Parks Committee to kind of finish seeing this. I think we started trying to figure out who owned the land 2 years ago.
a year ago.
A year ago?
Yeah, just took us a while.
Seems a whole lot
Yeah,
longer
it seems
You could be
longer.
the resident.
Yeah, be the resident.
Participant.
for that. But anyways, so yeah, council's good with having them move forward.
Okay, we have our direction. Thank you, Mayor and
Okay,
Council.
thank you. Okay, we have need for closed session. I will entertain a motion.
So made.
I have a first from Karn, second from McComber. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No, but.
Okay, one opposed, Councilman Webb. Okay, Mike.
Where we moved.